Well, happy Monday, my friends. That's a good start right there. Happy Monday to all of you out there. Ben and Woods on 97.3. The Fan, welcome into another cold and drizzly morning here in Manchester. It is been driving me crazy. There's nothing I can do about it. It's out of my control. Allegedly, this week is supposed to be much nicer. So we'll see. My folks are coming to town. So hopefully the weather clears up for them. They deserve it. I'm Woodsy. That is Paul Reindl to my right. He's our executive producer, and he's our YouTube captain. And he is also today my co-host because Benjamin R. Higgins is currently, I would say this moment, either packing a late, doing a late pack job, loading up his stuff to go board a ferry to Catalina Island this morning. So he is maybe en route up to where the hell do they go out of again?
Is it Long Beach?
Somewhere around there, yeah. Dana Point, maybe. Yeah, Dana Point. Gonna leave Dana Point, jump on the ferry, and then head over to Catalina Island, which I've heard mixed things on. I've heard, oh, dude, Catalina's amazing. You guys are going to love it. Then I've heard pretty boring. It's a pretty boring place to go. So I would probably find it relaxing if it was just me and my missus. But if it was me and the kids, I bet you they would be a little bored if we went over to Catalina. They do have the golf carts only over there, which I think is a cool bit. So yeah, Ben is there. Now he brought with him the equipment. It's called a Comrex. For those in the know, and for those of you, you laymen out there, you radio laymen, it's called a Comrex. He is able, as long as he has internet, to plug in anywhere he is. And assuming that the signal is strong enough, Paulie, Ben may be able to join us tomorrow.
We shall see.
We shall see. Now, Ben,
he's going to have to get there,
unpack,
test it out, plug it in, see if the Wi-Fi works.
Yes.
He'll probably, whatever time that is, if he can do it, I guess, before 6:00. And Scraby or Braden, somebody who's here, can dial him up,
do a quick test with him,
test it, and we'll know then. Which is great for you and me.
Yeah,
we get to spend all day just knowing how to plan tomorrow's show.
Now the other thing is, if he does come on and it's spotty, he also runs the risk of us just banging him at any time, just saying, you know what, dude, this sucks. We tried. Thanks for the effort. Enjoy the rest of your vacation. So he could be on tomorrow. He could be not. He could be on and it not work. So you got me, you got Paulie, be able to take you through the games this weekend and everything that happened in sports.
Bad news for you.
You
said the weather looked good this week, and
no good.
That didn't sound right when I checked the other day. So we're looking partly cloudy tomorrow. Wednesday and Thursday are going to be high of 72 and looks like sunny, so we'll be good there.
Okay.
And Friday and Saturday, pretty good chance of thundrstorms.
Well, they're staying in Carlsbad. Does that help at all? I wonder.
San Diego.
Okay.
So more central.
Because I looked at Carlsbad, and Carlsbad actually
that changes.
It changed like a mother effer from last night.
Yeah.
This thing had them dialed in Friday, 75 and sunny. And I said, well, great, because that's the day my parents are taking the kids Friday. Hannah and I were going to the Padre game Friday night. We got a hotel downtown, and there my parents have the kids. Friday, I texted my dad yesterday, make sure you bring your suit because you're going to be swimming with these nerds. And now there's a 50% chance of thunderstorms in Carlsbad. So that's just fantastic. That was I checked that thing like 12 hours ago when I texted him.
It changes fast.
It changes.
I had no idea it was going to rain yesterday. And then I heard it outside and on the roof. And I go, what in the hell is that? I look out the window. And,
Paulie,
it is pouring rain.
When a guy from Manchester, England steps on the stage, plays a couple songs, and then says to the audience, hey, I can't do his accent very well. What in the F is going on with the weather here? This is terrible. Okay, Noel Gallagher, we're sorry.
We know.
He's
Noel.
He said, I packed for Hawaii, and I've got one jacket here. I'm wearing it on stage. And I said, I know, Noel, you're up there talking while it's sprinkling on us here in the audience. On Saturday night, I took a bit of a flyer, as it were. It's kind of a weird day. I was not expecting to go see Noel Gallagher
So I saw this kind of develop early in the day
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
And then I texted you, and then I saw later in the day that you were there.
Yep.
And I go,
He didn't
am I
tell
a
me.
jerk? I don't. And I started talking to myself. Maybe he did mention it a while ago.
I didn't.
No, I think he would have told at least on Friday. Be like, hey, I'm pumped for Saturday night.
Yeah, I had no idea I was going when I woke up Saturday.
I love that.
But here's what happened. So I was talking some soccer with my buddy back home, my buddy Mark Bauman, and Bauman said, dude, listen. That's how he talked. Dude, listen. Whatever you do today, and you got your Padres, you need to watch the UEFA World Championship. And I said, yeah, you know me, always buy the tube for some soccer. And I said, fill me in. He goes, all right, dude, it's basically like the Super Bowl. And I said, okay, well, I can get behind that. It's like winner take all, bud. I said, okay. Who's playing? He said, Man City. I go, oh, I know them. That's Liam Gallagher and Noel Gallagher's favorite team, Man City. And he said, they're playing Inter Milan. And I said, okay, great. What time's the game? Noon. He said, what time's the Padre game? I said, noon. I said, so you're SOL, UEFA. I'm watching the Padres on Saturday. But I flipped around a little bit. But then my phone went ham. It went ham. Everybody knows I'm a huge Oasis fan. I tend to lean more Liam than Noel, but that's okay. And everyone's like, dude, Noel Gallagher's here. You should come down to this bar in North Park or wherever it was. I don't even remember where it was.
Did you have to pick sides when they
Bluefoot.
split?
I did.
Yeah.
Well, I like the front man. Noel's the more talented. He writes all the songs, but Liam delivers.
You can appreciate them in
Oh, yeah,
retrospect
absolutely.
as a group.
I love him as a group.
Moving forward,
But
yeah,
moving forward, I was
choose.
Liam. I'm a Liam guy. I like his attitude better. I think he's a better front man, singer, the whole bit. My kids love Oasis. Love. We listen to a lot. They can both sing Live Forever all the way through. Probably the first song they ever learned how to sing all the way through, both of them. So we're sitting at the lunch table. It's actually kind of around dinner time on Saturday. And I said, Bo, come here. And I said, look at that. Noel Gallagher's here in San Diego. He's at a bar watching his team win. And he said, he goes, he's here? I go, yeah. He goes, where's Liam? I go, Liam's in England. And he goes, but Noel's here? Is he playing a concert? I go, yeah. And he just stopped and looked at me. And the look in his eyes said, well, why aren't we going?
What are we doing?
What are we doing here, Dad? And I said, okay, hang on.
So is this like 4 o'clock on Saturday?
Yeah, it's 4 o'clock.
7:30 showtime?
7. Doors open at 7. 4 o'clock. And I go, all right, well, let me check it out. So I log on and I find 2 insanely good tickets. 1 row ahead of where I was for The Cure.
Nice.
All right. No one in front of us, just a railing. Front row that's not on the floor. And they were dirt cheap. And I looked at Hannah and Hannah goes, go ahead. And I looked at Bo. I go, you want to go? He goes, yeah, I want to go. I said, done. So I bought him. And he's like, we're not going. Are we really going? I'm like, we're going, buddy. We're really, really going to do this. And so we end up going out there and loading up the car and heading on out. And it was a nice little surprise, and put him in his Oasis shirt and we went out. And we get out to Chula Vista. It's a long drive, as you know, and sprinkly. It's a little damp, sprinkling on us. And it was fine. We got a churro, some popcorn, a little cotton candy for Bo, and just kind of waited. And then Metric opened, and they're really good.
Had to be the youngest person in that.
There was a couple of kids in there, but yeah, I mean, he was
the youngest person that knew every word.
Yeah,
every song.
Yeah, he's a fan.
Love that.
He's a real fan, and he was wearing me out on the way. Do you think he's going to play Stand By Me? Is he going to play Talk Tonight? Is he going to play that? And I go, buddy, I have no idea. I said, that's the beauty of a concert. You kind of never know. Well, he also has a new record out, so I knew we were going to be treated to some new songs, and they're pretty good. But we get out there, and he starts the show, Paulie, with 7 brand new songs, and we're waiting, and we're waiting, and we're waiting, and we're like, all right, this is fine. You know, we're having a great time. Bo's not saying a word. He's cuddling up next to me. It's just father son. It was really, really special. Well, then.
7 songs. That's 45 minutes to an hour.
It's like, yeah, of just the new stuff.
Like Bo's a ticking time bomb.
Yeah, pretty much every kid
Saturday
is.
night.
Yeah, pretty much every kid is.
Right.
So he so finally starts
dude, get to it. Let's go.
Finally he starts going into some old Oasis songs. Now, what he decided to do was I'm gonna play some old Oasis songs that are like B-sides. Now I knew them, I knew every word. Bo didn't. Bo wanted Live Forever, he wanted Wonderwall, he wanted Don't Look Back in Anger, he wanted Stand By Me, Don't Go Away, whatever. Well, he gets to the end of one and he kind of stops and puts his guitar down and starts to walk off the stage. And I'm like, well, that can't be it, because he's only played 10, 11 songs. He's talking to a guy. He walks back out and he's like, hey, listen, I've lost my voice and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, wait a minute. That SOB was in San Diego cheering for his team today, his Man City football team, and he lost his voice. That was my theory. Yeah. So they interview him. I had not seen this to this point. So they interviewed him after the win, and he said this.
Experience not. Are you sober enough to talk to us?
My voice has gone a little bit. My voice has gone a little bit. I'm not sure how great the gig's going to be tonight, but
Perfect.
I got to say it was amazing. It's been there's quite a lot of City fans in San Diego, it turns out.
Yeah, quite a lot of City fans in San Diego. Noel there leading the chants, and then has a show that night. So he
had you seen that.
That's a good question.
Prior
Do I still
to
go?
buying the tickets, would you have gone?
I don't know. I just don't know. He seemed sober. So I've been at concerts when the front man couldn't stand up. I was at the Kings of Leon show when they broke up and they were drunkenly fighting.
My voice has gone a little bit. I'm not sure how great the gig's going to be tonight, but
well, the gig was, I guess, fine. It was fine. But he walks out and he's like, listen, I was going to play you one more song, but my throat is really cashed and I've lost my voice. I'm like, oh, okay. And the song he was supposed to play is Live Forever. And that's Bo's song. It's like, it's Paulie, if I have a song with both of my kids, that's our song, Live Forever. And we all sing it. I play it on the guitar. We all sing together. It's our song. So for that moment alone, I was ready. And then he didn't play it. And he played Don't Look Back in Anger, but he couldn't sing the chorus. The So Sally Can Wait,
Right.
The audience sang that part, which was fun, but that was it. He walked out. So we're leaving. It was over. And Garbage was playing next. I think he would have liked Garbage, but it was already 9:30. I'm like, I'm not doing this. We saw Noel Gallagher. That's kind of what we came for.
Yeah.
Walking out to the car. And I go, how are you? And he goes, I'm sad. And I go, well, why? He goes, because he didn't play anything good. And I go, well, I said, that's kind of what a concert is. You never know what you're going to get. And sometimes they let you down. I said, but it's a good lesson for you, because you don't get to hear every song you want to hear. And he's like, and he looks at me and goes, I just don't understand why him and Liam don't play together. Oh. And I said, well, you have a brother. And he goes, yeah. I go, do you ever fight with your brother? He goes, yes. I go, now imagine being in a band with your brother. My drums, I want to play that guitar. This is my life every day. I want to play that guitar. They scream at each other and fight. And I said, that's what it is. That's exactly how it goes. And, but it was fun, man. Anytime we get to spend some good QT like that, I really, really love those moments. You realize that's that kid's 5th concert, Paul? He's 5 years old. Isn't that amazing? His 5th concert, and he loves it. He's such a pro.
This is a bummer.
Yeah, it was a bummer.
I'm looking through setlist.fm.
Yeah, I looked a little bit. Yep.
Setlist, and yeah, he definitely does play a few more Oasis songs. I'm looking at earlier in the week prior to him losing his voice.
So I looked at that, though. That was a private gig. That would have been the dream scenario. And he had been playing Live Forever. He booted it. And that's really the only one we wanted to see.
Master Plan, Going Nowhere, Little by Little,
Yep.
Live Forever, Love Will Tear Us Apart, and Don't Look Back.
Yep. So he skipped entirely Live Forever, which is just amazing. So, it does beg the question. If you're a guy like him, and I understand, you have a new album out, and you're excited about your new album. Aren't you supposed to play?
We talk about this
We talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
Like, what's your responsibility to play give the people what they want. There, in my opinion, there's a lot of responsibility to give the people what they came to see. I understand that you want to scratch your own itches too. I'm a guy that gets bored with stuff. I mean, I can't do the same thing every day. So I do understand that, but all it did was make Bo more excited for an Oasis reunion. So hopefully that
Where do we stand on that?
It's they said if Man City wins champions, they're going to get the band back together. So we'll see. We'll see if they're men of their word. It will be short lived. I can promise you that they're not going to do some 300 date deal. It'll be 5, 6, 7 shows, probably in England, which I will have to go to and take my entire family. So it's going to cost me a fortune, but I'm down to do it. But it was a great night. We had a really, really fun time. Had a great weekend altogether. Went to a little kid's birthday party on Saturday where I met a guy. Before we go to break, Paulie, I wanted to share this with you. I knew you'd get a kick out of this. And he walks up and he introduces himself and he goes, hey, he's like, my son, Jack, is like the biggest fan of your show. And I said, oh, it's nice to meet you, man. And I said, where do you live? He goes, actually, I live pretty much like right behind you guys, like catty corner. And all I could think about is me out on the phone talking to Paulie, like bitching about Adam. And I'm like, oh, so you hear me on the phone? And he's like, every now and then you probably hear us yelling at our kids. And I'm like, yeah, you know everything about the Ben and Woods show. His name's Brian. He's got 2 sons, Jack and Benny. And he goes, dude, last week, he goes, Jack, say hi. And so I shook his little hand. He's probably around Bo's age, 7, maybe 8. He goes, his favorite bit in the world is when you and Paulie started counting on the radio. He said he couldn't stop laughing. We were driving to school. Ben's talking, and you guys are like 1, 2, 3. We were counting all of the games left.
There was 102 games remaining, and
he thought that was. He said
your point was that's a long time. Still,
yeah, it's a long time.
You're saying I'm frustrated as hell, just like everybody. But perspective, that's a long time. Benny, you know how long 102 is?
He thought that was the funniest piece of radio he'd ever heard. Our numbers in the 8-year-old demo are really, really good. That we are on the same wavelength with that with them.
Just crushing.
But shout out to the Geffen family, man. They're really, really cool people. Brian, Benny, Jack. That was really, really fun to meet you guys, and it's our pleasure. And we maybe can have some more bits that you guys would enjoy today. But Ben is out today, so we're going to get into all this Padres stuff. I want to take your calls a lot today. I'm not on Twitter anymore, but I do get tweets sent to me. I see Instagram comments. It's basically the same thing. We post something and people lose their minds about yesterday's game, and that's kind of where we're going to start. So I want to take your calls. Who are you pointing the finger at? I've got my ideas on who I'm pointing the finger at yesterday for yesterday's loss. They did win the series, which is great. Don't want to overlook that. It was a big series win. It really, really was.
It is tough in the moment to have perspective on that.
We all slept on it. I want to see if people are.
God, can they just win one Sunday game?
That's it, man. Just one.
Can we just come in on a Monday one time?
Just one time.
If they reversed it this weekend, bummer loss on Friday, blowout win on Saturday, and a 1-run win yesterday, we're feeling much different.
I mean, I feel pretty good anyway. I do. I slept on it. I feel fine. You're winning series. That's the most important thing right now. But call us, 833-288-0973. Paulie's got a ditty next and a new theme. Let's get this thing cranking on a Monday. It's Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. What a great selection, Paulie. Death Cab for Cutie, Soul Meets Body.
All right.
What is your theme?
So my
Hot
theme,
bodies.
hot bods. No, so I'm scrolling the old Insta yesterday, and my boy Aaron ran into his favorite artist, one of his favorite artists at the Chicago airport.
Okay.
I was that's awesome. And I've met a couple of people at the airport, artists that I enjoy. This is not one of them, but I have met the guys from Death Cab for Cutie. Actually met them here less than a year ago. They were doing a private show with Alt 94.9.
Really nice dudes.
I'm in the prod studio. I'm in the production studio, and I look out and go, oh, like setting something up here. They're putting out the velvet ropes and all that. And freaking Death Cab walks in. I got to meet the guys, and they were awesome. It was super cool. So
nice
my
guys.
theme is bands and artists you've personally met.
Oh, this will be easy.
I think it's going to be easier for you
What's
than
Ben gonna
maybe
do?
Ben. Well,
didn't LT put out a record like LaDainian Tomlinson? Maybe that will be.
Is that a song? I don't like that call.
I will bet.
Not a very good call.
I will bet that it's some sports guy that put out a record or two. Benjamin is out. It's Ben and Woods. Ben and Paul today. Ben is loading on a ferry here to head out to Catalina Island today for one of his many vacations. And he's got the stuff with him. We'll see if he logs in tomorrow and we're able to use him. He did forget his camera, so he'd have to use the camera on his laptop. I don't know that he thought that went through completely, but we'll see. We'll see how it sounds. If it sounds good, we'll roll. If it doesn't, we will not. We've got your calls, people lining up right now, wanting to talk about the San Diego Padres. Who did? Let me just remind you guys, just won the series in Colorado, which, not to pull a Ben-ism, if I told you you were going to win the series on Friday, would you be happy? The answer to that is obviously yes. At this point in the season, you take what you can get. You're trying to dig yourself out of a little bit of a hole. And winning a series at that dump is always a good thing. It's never a bad thing. It's always a good thing. Winning a series on the road in Colorado is a good thing.
They were going for their first sweep, I think they said, since 2011.
Paulie,
all bets are off.
The Oakland A's, who are literally 3 small steps above an adult league baseball team. Like the best adult league baseball team gives the A's a semi-run for their money. The best in the world. They have won 5 straight. The Padres have not won 5 straight all season. The Padres, if I'm not mistaken, have not won 4 straight all season. 3 seems to be our magic number. And we're not able to win that 4th game and get the winning streak really going. Of course, they have a day off today, and now they'll start again against Cleveland tomorrow back home, where they've played terribly. So, yeah, it doesn't bode well right now, but you are happy when you come home winning a series. You did not like the way that game ended last night. We will get into that next. Want to hear who you're pointing the finger at, if you're pointing the finger, or is it truly a team game and a team loss, and everybody could have done better? I think there's a lot of that going around as well. So we'll talk about that. We'll start there. It was a successful weekend, as much as we don't want to admit it. It was. You won the series against Colorado. They're not a good baseball team. They tried to hand it away, but at least you took 2 of 3. We'll get into all of that and then some. Stay on the line for us. If you called, I'm sorry. I probably premature on that one. Just hang with me if you can. I know you have things to do, but just hang on the line. We'll get to you first out of the break. Well, after the wrap-up. executive producer / co-host today, wearing many, many hats, as he usually does. We will
including my grand old barbecue.
I forgot my grand old
It is a
barbecue
grand old
hat.
Monday.
Damn it! I'm gonna need a Sunday night text. I'm really bad about.
Why don't you just take Ben's?
Oh, is it here? Then I will take Ben's. I absolutely will. It is a grand old Monday here on Ben and Woods. Yeah, joined by our pals at Cespedes Family Barbecue at 8:35. Always enjoy catching up with them about the great game of baseball that we love to hate. We love to hate it.
We weren't exactly sure who we were going to chat with, Jordan or Jake. We've talked to Jordan the last couple of weeks.
Yep.
Jake has been in Paris for a couple of weeks.
Are we paying him too much money?
Maybe.
Is that he's in Paris?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
And no, I got the text. I actually woke up to the text this morning from Jake. He's back. And he's going to hop on with us. He's got a lot to catch up on.
Okay, good.
So I'm excited.
All right, good. And I want to find out how his trip went as well as a fellow one-time Parisian.
He said, we're recording our podcast this morning before your show.
Good.
And I'm looking forward to learning everything I missed. Over the
Okay,
last couple
perfect. Well, we can
10
certainly fill you in, Jake. That's going to come up at 8:35. Going to be joined by our pal Sammy Levitt. Haven't talked to him in a while. In season Sammy at 9:35. Got callers on the line. Please hold. We'll do traffic, do our wrap up, and then we'll get to you first thing, callers.
From the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Danick.
An accident has cleared on the northbound 805 before Palomar Street. Just seeing a little bit of residual slowing. Now a stalled car reported on the SeaWorld Drive on-ramp to northbound 5. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's a shame if they lose.
You can visit Pity City, but you can't live there.
Did you miss any of the Padres game yesterday?
Oh, it's been a great day today. Can't wait for more.
Oh, God, here we go. Jesus Christ.
Cancel the parade. That's why you play the games.
It's the Padres wrap-up with Ben and Woods.
Slam Diego? More like fail Diego.
Presented by Hamul Casino. With thrilling slots and tables and all the best rewards, Hamul Casino has all the fun you're looking for. Hamul Casino, fun above all else. On 97.3 The Fan.
I just felt the way that the roster is built, they would have to outscore their opponents to win.
1-0 pitch hit in the air to very deep left field. Soto going back. Full sprint back to the wall. Looks up. Going to go. A home run for Tovar. He's had a nice series.
Left the changeup up.
Nothing on the right hand, and a line drive over Odor into right center. A base hit. Coco Montes, a 2-out single in the bottom of the second inning. His first major league hit. And the pitch to Soto is swung on and skied into left field. Jones got a good arm. He's camping underneath of it. Fernando tagging. Jones will make the catch. Here comes Tatis. Jones' throw is on the way to tag, and he's safe. Ball got out of the mid of the catcher wings. Now the pitch. And Cronenworth hits it in the air deep down the right field line. Grichuk goes back. He will look, and it's going to go. A 2-run homer for Jake Cronenworth. Padres lead for the first time today as they open up the fourth inning with back-to-back extra base hits. And it's 3-1. 2-2 again. Pitch on the way to Montero is swung on and missed. Strike 3, a changeup, and Snell strikes out the side. 1-2-3 here in the fourth inning. He's got 9 strikeouts already to match his season high. Here's the 0-2, and Montez swings and misses at a curveball. Strike 3. A season high 10 Ks for Snell, and another on the curve, 2 down. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Montez hits it in the air to deep left field. Soto going back, looking up. This one's off the top of the wall. No, a home run. Just over the left field fence. Coco Montes in his major league debut has hit a 2-run homer to tie the game in the bottom of the 8th inning. And Tovar lines it into left. Soto charging in and over, dives, and he made the catch. Going to get a double play at second, but he throws to third. Manny back to second. They got him. A double play to end the inning. Doyle went the wrong way, and then Soto threw the wrong way, but Machado able to cut him down at second base just in time. Here's the 2-1. Way outside, goes to the backstop. Here comes Kim. He's going to score. And the Padres retake the lead on a wild pitch here in the 9th inning. Here's the 0-2. McMahon swings, sends a drive to deep right field. This one way back, gonna go. Off the facing of the upper deck in right field. McMahon's 10th home run, and that will retie this game 4-4 as Tom Cosgrove allows a run for the first time in his big league career. 1-1 pitch, sky to deep right field. That's going to do it. Nolan Jones, a walk-off home run, way up and out. Might have found the upper deck and right. My goodness, what a long home run. Nolan Jones, 4th of the season. He has homered in back-to-back games, and the Rockies hit a pair of home runs in the bottom of the 9th inning to win it.
You know what? Both teams have to play in the conditions. So, no. Yeah, we were short some, but still, Blake pitched great. We felt we were in a good position to finish it out. It didn't happen.
Yeah, that one stung yesterday. I loved waiting around like an hour and a half to watch that too. That was super fun. That was super duper fun. And a lot of people pointing the finger at Bob Melvin, a lot of people pointing the finger at other players. I saw about 7 guys at one point where I kind of pointed the finger at them. And let's get into it, man. We got people waiting on hold. Let's kind of hear where Padres fans' heads are at this morning.
All right, let's start with Ryan. You're first up this morning.
Love it. Morning, Ryan. How are you doing, buddy?
Morning, guys. How you doing?
Good, man.
Good. Hey, so I am a Bob Melvin fan.
Yep.
Huge fan. Support him through everything. This is one though he's got to wear hard. Blake Snell was at a very nice 69 pitches, like 6 or 7 innings.
Yeah.
He ended with 85 pitches, and he was rolling. Why was he not out there in the 8th?
So did you see?
And why was Luis Garcia the one they went with?
Did you see what happened to Blake though, and what they said after the game?
I saw him that he was throwing a couple, kind of warm up pitches.
Yeah.
I didn't actually get the confirmed thing on it.
So he got drilled in the 8th, and I think again, this is one of those deals. It's one of those bad luck situations, right? Because he was absolutely cruising.
Maybe his best start as a Padre.
I think his best start as a Padre. And that in those conditions at that dump with those, guys.
0 walks.
No walks.
12
Ks. So he gets drilled in the ankle with 108 mile an hour line drive. And you will pitch through that for a minute. And then
you can finish off the inning, maybe.
Finish it
off.
Adrenaline. Little adrenaline pushes you through, comes into the dugout, his ankle swells up. And Bob Melvin is not a guy that's going to he's not going to push a player after he just wore 108 to the ankle, which I agree with, by the way, fully. Like, you got to manage for Blake's next start and the start after that, especially as well as he's pitching right now. So that was it's hard to pin that one on Bob other than, hey, I mean, could he have gone back out there? I don't know. I mean, Blake himself had some comments about it. Let's play the Blake audio here. We'll try to unpiece and unravel this mystery for you, Ryan.
All right, here's what Blake had to say.
Considering the way you pitched, frustrating at all that kind of that's the way it ended. Maybe it could have gone a little deeper.
Yeah, definitely. Want to be out there and continue to compete. Just at that point, I don't think it's worth it.
All right, so I want to be out there to compete. Just at that point, I don't think it's worth it for me personally. So that doesn't sound like, to me, Blake said, no, it's nothing. It's a glancing blow. I can go. Like, if he sends him out there with a fracture, even if it's a hairline fracture in his ankle, you're putting at risk. Then you're going to need somebody to fill in Blake's spot. If he goes out and lands funky on a wet mound, a banged up ankle, I thought that was the right move. You had gotten from Blake Snell, everybody, more than you ever expected in Coors Field. Let's be honest. People were foaming at the mouth about Blake Snell having to pitch at Coors Field. He rose to it, man. He rose to it. He pitched his ass off. He deserved to win. In fact, he's deserved much better than his record indicates. He pitched his absolute tail off yesterday. So, Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. You deserve all the accolades today, Blake.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Here's what Bob had to say after the game, because there were a lot of people asking the same question as Ryan. So
Yeah, it was bothering him a little bit, but it's 7 innings either way. He pitched really well, but that factored in. Yeah.
How encouraging was what Blake was able to do today?
He's on a roll now. Similar to what we've seen in a lot of his second halves. So.
He went on to say later in the post-game interview that he did get an X-ray. It swelled up on him, and they pulled him.
Absolutely fine.
And I think again, that's the right move.
You gave us everything we could have asked for from Blake. It is the other guy's jobs to finish out that game. You had a 3-1 lead, And listen, that's certainly not insurmountable
Now-
at Coors Field as we've seen, but these are big league ball players. They got to get outs, and they have to make plays. And the first guy he goes to, now listen, you got to remember too.
Let's get to the second part of Ryan's call.
The second part of Ryan's call is why Luis Garcia. All right. Well, I'm looking at the pitch counts for the bullpen. It's a really go to rotowire.com/baseball bullpen usage, and it will really help you. It does. It helps me every day because I second guess Bob Melvin, and I go in and look, and I say, oh, I didn't realize that. That Steven Wilson had thrown 27 pitches the night before. I didn't realize that Carlton had thrown 28 the night before, 54 in his last 5. It breaks it all down for you. So I'm looking at the usage, and going into Sunday's game, here's what Bob had available in the pen. He had Tom Cosgrove fresh. He had Brent Honeywell fresh, Luis Garcia fresh off the IL, but fresh. And he had Tim Hill, who had thrown 4 pitches previously. So those were his guns. Those were the guys he was going to use to get through that game. Again, Tom Cosgrove, Brent Honeywell, Luis Garcia, and Tim Hill. Luis Garcia has been a high leverage pitcher for this team at times, and he's done it well at times. Has he done it poorly at times? Sure. Brent Honeywell, they have tried him in high leverage situations. It really hasn't worked. In my mind, and it might be recency bias, Paul, I feel like every time Brent Honeywell pitches, he gives up a home run. That may be false, but I feel like it's been 100% of the time this year. And then you got Timmy Hill. Okay. Timmy Hill's a warrior. He pitches a ton. I had no problem, none whatsoever, going to Garcia there, because at the end of the day, Garcia is, in fact, your freshest arm. He hadn't, he'd been thrown a couple of, bullpens and side sessions as he came back from the IL. I saw a lot of, why would you put that guy out there right when he's on the IL, right when he's off the IL? Well, when do you put him in? He's always, unless you put him in, he's always going to be out right off the IL.
At some point, he's got to make his first.
He's got to go.
Yeah.
He's got to go. So your other option there was to go with Honeywell, which I would have probably freaked out about. Your other option was to go with Tom Cosgrove there. I don't think the matchup
Martinez
was right.
He was talking about the bullpen usage and kind of what their plan was, and that got thrown around a little bit with the rain delay.
And then the rain.
We were going to use Martinez to close, even though it was 3 days in a row with him. But with the rain starting like that, and with us not knowing if we were going to score, we were comfortable with Cosgrove going out for McMahon, and then bring in Martinez after that.
Yep.
But after the rain delay, I wasn't going to use him after. This would have been his 3rd day in a row and warming up already.
Yep. So he got him hot. He was ready to go, running into the game when they called the game, when they put the game on pause. So,
and he could have gone out there after the delay, I guess, until you engage the rubber, you're not officially in the game. But dude,
hour and a half
for
delay.
A relief pitcher who's not built up like that to throw 2 or 3 days in a row, get hot,
2 days in a row,
come out,
come out, sit
for an hour and a half,
get hot again.
You just can't do that.
No.
You're risking injury.
You are. You absolutely are. So again, I think that this is all logical. In my mind, at least it was. It was just a crap game that got away. But if I'm going to blame somebody, I'm going to blame Luis Garcia. And I'm going to blame Luis Garcia for not covering first base on a ground ball to Jake Cronenworth. Now, Jake made a nice play on it. It was hit hard up the line. Jake makes a nice play, turns to flip the ball, and there is no one within 15 feet of the bag. Then Garcia gets a late break. Guy's safe at first. Then Luis Garcia throws a cement mixer slider to a kid in his major league debut, and he hits it out of the yard. Tie ball game. So Cosgrove, you went to next. He gave up a home run through the driving rain. Then Brent Honeywell comes in after the delay. First batter, second batter. Guy hits an absolute tank that still hasn't landed yet. Really, none of those guys were good. You could have mixed and matched. That's what he had. That's what he is dealt the hand that he's dealt, and that's the hand that he was dealt. Is those guys, and those were the guys that were going to get him through. It didn't work out. It sucks. If I have to look at anybody, though, I look at Luis Garcia and go, bro, you got to be there at first. That's just my opinion. That's my opinion. And managing with hindsight is super, super easy. But even managing with managing with hindsight, I'm like, what would I have done different? I mean, if you knew the rain was going to come, you would not have had Nick Martinez get hot.
Right.
Right?
If you knew Garcia wasn't going to cover first, maybe you would have gone with another guy.
It just
Garcia did not help himself, slow to cover first base.
Yeah.
How big was that? What did you see? What he did?
That was big. I don't know if he turned the other way, but when he started, I think he realized he wasn't going to get there in time.
Yep.
Obviously, they ended up being big.
That was a huge boner by Luis Garcia yesterday. So listen, you took 2 out of 3. If you want somebody to blame and you want to blame the skipper, go ahead. I mean, go. I'm sure he'll wear it. But the right buttons were not pushed. Sometimes you only have a certain amount of buttons that you can push. There's so many bullets down there.
I was going to say,
and none of those
like
bullets were effective.
I think the right buttons were pushed. I mean, for the buttons that he had to push.
Yeah,
he was kind of hamstrung.
All 3 of those guys gave up a home run, though.
Yeah,
all of them. Cosgrove gave up 1. Honeywell gave up 1, and Garcia gave up 1.
Tough to win.
Tough to win when that happens. So
2-run ball game.
I enjoyed, and if you can go back too, and they made Dinelson Lamet look like a serviceable starter, which he had not been. Again, you did get a little unlucky. Juan Soto hit that missile with the bases loaded right at the shortstop, double play. Sucks. That's one of those games that gets away. I mean, look, the other thing too is if we want to blame people, our 2 through 4 hitters were 1 for 16 yesterday. 2 through 4. That is Manny, that is Soto, and that is Gary Sanchez, who took an offer, struck out twice. Manny an offer. Juan Soto had an offer.
No, they went over. Yeah, over 12.
0 for 12.
2 through 4.
Yeah, 2 through 4. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 12. So
Bogarts would make it 1 for 16.
Bogarts would make it 1 for 16. Yeah, 2 for 4, 2 for 5, going 1 for 16. So that's kind of playing with fire a little bit. Dinelson Lamet had a 13 ERA at the time. So yeah, you kind of look at that as a missed opportunity. But hey, listen, again, you won 2 or 3. Anytime you can pick up 2 wins in Colorado, you got to look at it as a positive. I know there's a sour, bitter, acrid taste in our mouth right now. It tastes like we've been chewing on aspirin right now after yesterday's game. But, refocus. They did have a couple of really, really, really nice wins that we will talk about as well here on Ben and Woods. Let's do that one next. The Ryan Weathers game, that one may have been my favorite win of the year. Coming up next, Ben and Woods. Welcome back. Happy Monday, Ben and Woods, 97.3, The Fan. I think, Paulie, I think people are mostly slightly optimistic. I'm not letting myself get super duper optimistic yet. I enjoyed winning 2 of 3. I did. I really, really did. And I really enjoyed
3 in a row. If you go back to Wednesday,
Thursday, Wednesday. Yeah.
Wednesday.
So, listen, at some point, you have definitely dug yourself a hole. I was listening last night to Eduardo Perez, and he was talking about the Red Sox. And he said, I think they're above 500, but you look in that division in the AL East, and the Tampa Bay Rays sit alone at the top. They're like 14 games ahead of Boston. And he said, how hard is that, Eduardo, as somebody that played the game, to be that far out in June? You're looking up going, we can't catch them. And he said, man, it's not the right mentality. It's just not the right mentality at this point in the season. The way you got to do it is you just got to win series. You just keep winning series. Let the chips fall where they may at the end. The extra wild card is certainly going to help. And if you keep winning series, you put yourself in a good position. Would it be nice for all of our mental health to go out and sweep a series? Yes.
Of course.
We would love a sweep. You think Paulie and I didn't want to sweep this morning? Oh, my God. That SOB Ben texts us too. Right when the last out's recorded, I almost murdered him. He said, have a great show tomorrow. And I was like, bro, if I could reach through the phone right now and strangle you, I would. Yeah, because we knew this was going to happen. We knew it was. But 2 out of 3, that plays fine, man. You escaped. You won a close game finally on Saturday. And it's.
Do you feel after the fact, after watching yesterday's game and how it ended, do you still feel like the Padres are maybe starting to turn the corner and playing better baseball? Or did you watch that loss yesterday and go, same old Padres?
No, I didn't, man. I didn't. I did not have that sinking feeling. It was almost kind of a peaceful feeling. I knew Brent Honeywell was letting that game out of hand. I knew we weren't going to extras. And here's the other thing. Had we gone to extras, I also realized we're probably losing in extras. We got to break that schneid at some point. We got to get off that extra inning scene here pretty soon. Figure out a way to get more than one run across. I did not mention the Trent Grisham bunt yesterday, but that was one that made me insane. I mean, just absolutely made me insane at that ballpark. With that guy on the mound, righty coming right into you, man. Just fight one off, try to get a knock and get a big inning there. Obviously did not execute the bunt. Just poor execution yesterday is what I saw. And I hate games like that. I don't mind losing, dude. Losing a tough, hard-fought ball game is going to happen in 162. A lack of execution, like not covering first, popping up a bunt. Those are the things where you look at and you're like, bro, let this one get away. You didn't hit well again with runners in scoring position, but overall, the way they've been playing baseball the last couple of weeks, not that the record indicates it all the time, they are playing better baseball. We are seeing more. We saw a good series from Manny. Until yesterday, we saw a good series from Bogarts. We saw a good series from Tatis. We saw Jake Cronenworth hit the ball out of the yard. We saw him hitting it around a little bit. These are all encouraging signs. Gary Sanchez continued until yesterday to hit the ball very, very hard. I get it, man. Sometimes you're going to have those games. Yesterday was poorly executed by a few different guys at the end, and you take the L. A very, very tough L, but, listen, just one of 97 now left to go. Paul, you got anybody else on the line? People want to call in. You can, 833-288-0973.
Yeah, we got Mike.
Mike, what'd you want to say, buddy?
Hey, well, you've hit all the points I was trying to hit on, and the absolute disgusting part about it is giving away these mental brain cramps.
Yes.
Whether it's the manager that you mentioned, Grissom, which made me insane. They just hit the fly ball and score the run, put Hader in, and let's go home. It's just simple, and they don't play small ball. It pisses me off. They have players that have to adjust. Listen, Manny's had to adjust the time, the clock from the beginning. He's struggling. He's trying to work through that. I mean, yes, we've had some injuries, but this team is not championship ready. They're not going to, even if I'm telling you, getting into the wild card, forget it. Vanilla Bob, I call him Schottenheimer. It's 500. It's losing the first round. This guy's, you know what? In my opinion, it's a rebuilding year, honestly. And I tell you why. Because they're not fundamentally sound at all. The reason you lose in all the 10th inning extra innings is because there's a guy on second with nobody out and you don't bunt him to third and hit a fly ball and score the run. They can't do that.
They've done that. And
but they can't. They don't do it consistently. They don't do it enough at all. They don't play small ball. They just swing for the fences. The problem, the manager camp championship mindset, these brain cramps are killing us, brother. I'm sick of watching them. They're like pretenders and not contenders, and I'm done with it. I know you think it's just a hard loss, but I've been watching this from the first 2 weeks in. I was like, no, this red flags. I've been feeling it all the way. I'm not trying to put cold water on it. Yes, you're right. They've been playing a little better, but this is going nowhere, brother. I'm telling you. I mean, I hate it. I hate it. They got 97 games left, but there's just not enough fundamentals and mental championship baseball. Forget it. They're one and done on the playoffs. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just sick of watching this train wreck. It's just waiting to happen, and you're watching it little by little, and everybody's trying to be positive. But let's put it for what it is. It's a rebuilding year. Nobody's playing. I mean, I've got trades with 10 of these players. I mean, I really have moved on about some of these players have already traded.
Mikey. Well, thank you for the call. I was not expecting that when he started. He said you'd hit on all the points, and it makes a lot of sense. And then he went into, I'm trading everyone. I'm blowing this up. I don't feel the same. I don't.
Rebuilding year.
I don't. I definitely don't feel that. I don't feel a rebuilding year.
Interesting.
97 games left to go. Yeah, I would rather make mistakes now. I know, and listen, don't make no mistake. I'm not sitting here saying it's early. It's early. It's not, man. There's 97 games to go, which is still quite a lot of baseball to figure it out. Again, I want my team playing its best baseball in October. Clearly, do they have the capabilities of that? Yeah, and we've seen flashes of it. You know, we saw a really, really clean game on Saturday. We saw one of the best plays I think I've ever seen from our third baseman who ran. I believe Sammy Levitt had this info. My wife was listening in the car. She missed the catch. She had a showing, and we were watching the game live, me and my kids. Manny runs, Paulie, his fastest sprint speed of the year, 25 miles an hour.
Wow.
And it looked like he ran about 100 yards to catch this foul ball.
Popped up, foul ground, long run for Machado, trying the over the shoulder, and he catches it. A bobble or two, but he makes the catch.
It was incredible.
Unbelievable.
I mean, the thing about Manny is he normally catches it in the
first try,
in the glove. And when he didn't, we closed just a little bit too early. It popped up. He smacked it up, hit himself in the nose.
Popped off the glove. Then he hit it with his hand.
Into his face.
Right off the nose.
And then catches it. And then
he's sitting on the ground.
Has the wherewithal to know the tying run is on third. So gets up from his butt.
He could tag and score.
And throws and gets the ball in and saves that run. Padres win that game 3-2. One of the best catches I have ever freaking seen in my whole life. And again, ran so far to get it. I loved that. I loved that game. And I said, man, that game with Ryan Weathers on the bump, you just don't know what you're going to get. You had Kyle Freeland, I believe, pitch that game as well. And he looked fine. I mean, he looked fine. He was attacking the bottom of the zone, which we've all kind of realized that's how you get the Padres out. Gary Sanchez had an RBI, knocked in Manny. Nolan Jones, who was a good young player, hit the bomb in the bottom of the inning. And then what they did with Weathers, they gave him a little bit more than one time through the order. Okay. He faced 11 batters in 3 innings, 1 run on 3 hits, struck out 2. He did his job. And I know he did not want to come out. I know he wants the ball. That being said, after his last start, I was more than fine with the plan that they had put in. You know, hey, we're going to get this guy 3 innings, get out there, keep us in the game, and then let's go to our bullpen. Why do we sit here and laud other teams that do it, then get mad when the Padres do it? Because that's all we do. Everybody in the world, why can't we be more like the Rays? Why can't we be more like the Dodgers? They do it, and people are like, you got to leave Weathers out there, bro. That's not how, that was the plan going in. You've got a good bullpen. Use them to go steal a win, and that's exactly what they did.
Do you think I mean, when they make up that plan, and that plan wasn't made up on Saturday morning.
No.
Bob basically told us on Friday
Pretty
morning
much.
that was probably going to be the plan. So that was known Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whatever, that was going to be a short time for Weathers and basically a bullpen game on Saturday. Is there anything that Weathers can do on the mound in those 2 to 3 innings where they change plans?
Well,
and
dude,
I don't think so.
You're asking me that.
He could be throwing a no-hitter.
I have
a perfect
no
game
idea.
through 3 innings, and they're going to stick with their plan.
But I do know when other teams do it. I watched some Dodgers this weekend, Dodgers Phillies. I mean, John Kruk was straight up laughing at Dave Roberts, laughing at him, laughing at him. Here we go, another pitching change from Dave Roberts. My God, this guy's cruising. There's obviously 2 different schools of baseball going on. We love when Kevin Cash does it, right? Everyone's like, oh, look at him using that opener. That's how he does it, and using his bullpen perfectly. What's their record? 41-18. If that's the plan, I have no problem, Paulie. If he comes out and mows through the first 9 and they say, yeah, give him a little extra. Okay, then he gets 10, 11, and 12, and then they pull him kind of like they did. I have no problem with it whatsoever. And again, it's a good confidence builder for Ryan, who had a really bad start in his last start, and you're pitching at Coors Field. Buddy, take that as a win for you. That is a win for you. You absolutely did your job. He was really mad about coming out. Bob had to go over and say something to him. Niebla had to go over and say something to him. I like that fire. I like that competitive spirit.
Did he not know?
Yeah, did he not tell him? He kind of, I thought he pretty much knew, hey, man, this is what we need from you. And he went out and he executed. And they won that ball game. Most importantly, a close game. The Manny catch was huge in such a clutch moment. And then Josh Hader came in and slammed the door for his 15th save. So I had no problem. I loved that win. I love the defense I saw. I love the clutch hits I saw. You obviously want more runs at Colorado. A pitcher's duel at Colorado is just not something you see a lot of. But, man, huge win. After, being able to follow up Friday night's win with a close game victory, I thought we were in a good position to sweep. Blake Snell certainly pitched us into a good position to sweep. It just didn't work out that way. You won 2 out of 3. My friends, it's not the worst outcome at all. It's winning 2 or 3 there. I'm going to beat that point like a dead horse. You take that every single time. You will. In Colorado, where we have not played well. Oh, my God, we have not played well at all.
It's a little recency bias. Turd ending on Sunday. You're going to feel
a little bitter.
Certain way.
Yeah,
I get
you
it.
feel a little bitter,
I get
man. You feel a little bitter. So, I mean, there's issues. There's issues on this team. No one's sitting here telling you it's all sunshine and roses, man. There are massive issues on this team. The bullpen is, other than really Steven Wilson, some of the long relief type guys that have been pitching really, really well, keeping us in ball games. But yeah, you're going to need that back end guy. Who's your 8th inning guy right now? It's not Brent Honeywell if I'm Bob Melvin. It's not Luis Garcia if I'm Bob Melvin. So got your shots, both of you, yesterday, and it didn't really work out. Maybe Steven Wilson moves into that role almost full time. As much as you can use him, you do, because he's been great.
Maybe Nick.
Yeah. So, I mean, Nick's a gamer. Nick was ready to come in. And I bet you anything Nick would have come back in yesterday. And I bet you Bob said, dude, it makes no sense. You pitched 2 nights in a row. We got you hot. You were ready to come in and close that game. You just sat for an hour and a half, bro. I'm not going to do this to you. And I bet you anything there was a conversation between those two, knowing Nick Martinez. And I have no problem with it, man. I trust Bob to manage this team for 162. And you won 2 out of 3 in Colorado. Kind of it. Friday night's game was amazing, too. But we got next. We're going to do Don't Do This. And Paulie and I might be monsters. And you know what? F you for sending this to me and making me laugh and then telling me that you feel bad about laughing, because I felt bad about laughing too.
Sour on 97 through the Fan, brought to you by the Caltrans Stormwater Program. Visit cleanwaterca.com. Let's change this to that by picking up after our pets, reducing pesticide use, and regularly servicing our vehicles. Learn how at cleanwaterca.com. That's cleanwaterca.com from Caltrans Stormwater. Also, in our 8 o'clock hour, we got a pair of Padres tickets to give away. And let me pull that up, make sure I get you the right game. It is for Wednesday's game. It's a night game. All 3 are night games this week against the Guardians. Wednesday's game, and that is the Hawaiian shirt giveaway night for the first 40,000 fans in attendance. So
when are we doing that?
8 o'clock hour.
8 o'clock
hour
hour
with us. But coming up next on Don't Do This.
Paulie,
You're
a monster.
I gave the "Don't do this to me" and Woods.
Yeah, it
is.
I'm
The
gonna-
amount of laughter that
It shouldn't. We shouldn't be laughing.
Do we just preface with "He's okay"?
He's fine. We got some audio next on Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Don't do this.
It's time for Don't Do This.
What were you thinking?
3 stories from the world of sports that make us all shake our heads.
How many times do I have to tell you?
I'm sorry, I fudged up, guys.
You idiot. You moron.
Dumbass.
The apple sometimes does fall from the tree.
Don't do this
Do not tweet that.
with Ben and Woods
I like a Nickelback song or two.
on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, welcome back, Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. 3 stories that make you shake your head. This one could have been a do this as well, except for the ending. This was pretty incredible. Over the weekend, a guy named Nick Taylor won the RBC Canadian Open. That's golf for the layman out there. Becoming the event's first Canadian winner since Pat Fletcher won it in 1954. The way that he did it was beyond incredible. He hit a 72-foot eagle putt on the 4th playoff hole in Toronto.
Crazy.
He is Canadian. That is the Canadian Open. It was huge for Canada. So he's jumping up and down, celebrating. One of his fellow countrymen, pretty good golfer by the name of Adam Hadwin, had a bottle of champagne, and he walked out to kind of the celebration area, and he's shaking the bottle and, letting it rain and all that. And the next thing you know, you see a dude run in from the side, and he laid Adam Hadwin out, laid him out. Security guard thought, you can't do this. We can't have people running around on the greens here spraying champagne. Well, he didn't know that guy was also a fellow Canadian golfer, and you could see guys run over to him and be like, dude, no.
I mean, the guy didn't just get in front of him.
No,
and
like,
kinda
hey,
walk- I
no.
mean, dude,
He
laid him
full
out.
on laid him out, which was incredible. He's okay. Everybody's okay. A little embarrassed after that, but that was one of the most amazing putts in one of the most amazing circumstances you will ever see. Imagine draining a 72-footer on your home turf in front of your fellow countrymen.
Really cool
to win a golf tournament. Incredible day. Incredible day for him, and not so much for Adam Hadwin, even though he is still very happy for his buddy, Nick Taylor.
Oh, Saturday night.
Paulie, how dare you?
Saturday night.
This was going around.
Red Sox. There was a moment in the 9th inning, foul ball hit by noted villain Justin Turner, who's just got it out for the elderly. Apparently,
why does he hate old people so much?
I don't know.
He hated them in LA. He clearly hates them in Boston. Yeah. It's a classless act what he did.
Foul ball hit behind the plate, and occasionally, actually happened earlier in the day on Saturday in Colorado. Foul ball made its way into the booth with Mud and Don. Don couldn't catch it. It shattered his monitor.
So they said that the ball hit him right in the breadbasket.
Yeah.
Don Orsillo.
Mud was giving him the business.
Oh, Manny saw it and was wearing him out apparently after the game and all day yesterday. Like, hey, nice hands, Foot. Just Orsillo blew it. He blew it. And then listening to him complain and about the monitor not being ready, it's shades of me. And then I'll admit that.
Yeah,
I always thought Ben and Don were more aligned, but I think I'm more aligned with Don, maybe a bigger diva.
But Saturday night, I mean, when I tell you, the don't do this is on me.
It's clear,
and
it's
me
on
too.
You got me.
Because when I tell you that the amount of laughter that I got out of this. So ball goes into the booth, and 84-year-old John Sterling, here's the call.
On the call.
Now the 3-2 swung on, a pop foul. Back here.
Ow! Ow! Ow!
It really hit me. I didn't know it was coming back that far.
Yeah,
so once again, it'll be a 3-2.
calling
And Holmes ready to deal. A ground ball to third. Donaldson squares, throws to first in time. Ball game over.
Game was almost
Yankees
over.
win.
Just like, he was so close.
Yankees win.
Bro, so
that foul ball actually hit me. It kind of glanced off my forehead.
what is a forehead?
So I took one for the team.
Okay, John. My star of the game is Kyle Higashioka, who wants to know if you're all right. Are you okay, John?
Yes,
Okay, yes.
I am okay. Just a glancing blow.
Just a glancing blow.
It hit off. It was coming up. A lot of spin on it because you fouled it off, and it hit something, and just skidded
the front of his
front of the desk, and it just skidded. And I need to hear his reaction.
Now the 3-2 swung on, a pop foul back here.
Ow! Ow! Ow!
Damn it, man.
You can hear the pause where he's like, "Oh, foul ball popped back," and he realized that's coming right at.
That's
our
on
booth.
me. That is on
3-2 swung on, a pop foul back here.
Ow! Ow! Ow!
And then I just heard it. And then I saw the video.
Yeah.
They have a camera like we do right on John Sterling.
It's so sad.
Ow! Ow! Ow!
We'll be able to use that for something. Something that will. Oh, he's lost it.
I feel so bad.
I know. I feel terrible.
Ow!
What if that was your grandfather?
Ow! Ow!
Didn't have a grandfather. Thanks for reminding me.
All
but
right.
I'd probably laugh.
Happy Father's Day week,
Oh,
by the
it's
way.
a great week in my household.
Celebrate.
Ow! Ow! Ow!
Yes, your wife lost her father far too soon.
Yes.
And your father just bailed.
If anybody knows where he's at, let me know.
I hate it so.
We're entering the rough season in my house. Yeah, Father's Day for both of us sucks. My late father-in-law's birthday is in a couple of weeks, and that's 8 days before the death anniversary, whatever you call it. I mean, it's a good 2 to 3 weeks where it's just
torture,
not fun.
Yeah, it's tough for me. I'm a father of two, as you know, and but my wife's father passed away and is revered. It's a hard day for her, but also there's me going. But what about me? I'm Dono.
I don't get to play that card.
What about my monitor? Is my monitor not fixed or good enough yet? I'm father of your children, so yeah, there's a little bit of a need for attention and whatnot. But listen, rough week to be sure. John Sterling though took that one like a champ, and this is
Ow! Ow! Ow!
That's Paulie's reaction when it's actually Father's Day. When Father's Day actually gets
Ow!
here.
Ow! Ow!
Oh my God. And then for do this.
DD Mega Doo-Doo.
One of the GOATs, man. One of just the best human beings to play this game of baseball. A guy I have enjoyed watching every time I've seen him on the
Who's
field.
Pittsburgh's biggest rival? Because they all love and respect this guy, right?
Absolutely.
I don't know how you can enjoy that. Call yourself a fan of the game and not appreciate everything that this man has done.
Kutch, man. Andrew McCutchen. Everyone thought, he's got, doing the finale tour with Pittsburgh, and they're going to be 50 games
He
out
wants to
by
get
the
his
break.
surfboard in San Diego.
Yeah, gets his, does his little tour and everything else. No, man, the guy's playing well, putting up numbers, and the team's winning and playing good baseball. And it's so great to see this. But he hit a pretty big milestone on Saturday, I believe.
There it is! 2000!
Got his family there.
A milestone moment for a Pittsburgh icon back home.
2,000 knocks is a lot of hits. That is a lot of hits in a long career. A great dude. Even, more importantly, great player. A great human is Andrew McCutchen. So talk to Adam Jones. I bet he has mentioned he knows Kutch really well. Would love to talk to him about what kind of player and person he is. But from everything I've seen, Andrew McCutchen, that's one of the good guys, one of the guys that you always root for. And that is don't and do this.
Ow! Ow! Ow!
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, coming up next, we will get into it wasn't my favorite win, but I was pretty excited about the results on Friday night. I actually liked Saturday's win a little bit more, meant a little bit more to me. But Friday night, the Padres came out and did what we expected them to do. It was a barrage.
It was important to see that coming after Wednesday's game against the Mariners.
Yeah.
Another good win. get the bats rolling. You're like, all right, let's do it 2 in a row, guys. Let's go.
It was a real Coors game. It was a real Coors Field game. It was not supposed to be that close. It certainly didn't feel that close, and it ended up being that close. We will talk about that. Some of the power on display from the fellas on Friday night. We'll do that next. Continuing to take your calls all day. 833-288-0973. Where are you at with this team? How you feeling?
Ow!
Who you ready to fire? Who do you want to replace? Who do you want to trade? All of those are such fun convos. Ooh, or we can revisit some bad trades AJ Preller made. It's all on the table here for Ben and Woods here on a Monday. Be right back. Welcome back, Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. It's good to be back here with you on a Monday. I think it's clearing up a little bit. I don't know. A lot of cloud cover out there. I'm just kind of over the gloom. Kind of, it's very indicative of how this baseball team plays from time to time. I feel like if the weather was nicer, we'd be able to stomach games like yesterday, a little bit more, a little bit easier. Yesterday, woke up kind of a wet, crappy, cloudy, chilly day. And, the team kind of played that way in Colorado. Now, the weather in Colorado was horrid yesterday. Completely horrid. I'm amazed the rain broke enough for them to – they were trying to fit that game in so hard.
Bro, that strike zone before the delay.
Oh, dude.
He's like,
get it close.
Within a foot, yeah. I'm calling it.
Yeah, get it close. Get it close. The umpiring in the entire series was horrific, as usual. So that's a
part for the course
story for another day. But when you hit like the Padres hit on Friday night, the umpire doesn't really matter. It really does not matter. They handled Austin Gomber really well. They did. A lot of guys hit bombs that night. It was a real solid win, and one again that you watch and you go, all right, that's what this team is capable of. And it's explosive. I mean, when it's on, it's explosive. It's 9-10 runs, and
started early. What was it, 5-6-0 after 2 innings?
And the Rockies,
Yu Darvish, a nice lead to work with.
Had a great lead to work with. Rockies, did their job playing at Coors Field. Strung a couple together, got a couple of runs in. But yeah, Padres put up 7 runs on Gomber on 11 hits in 4 innings. 6 of those runs in the first 2 innings. You had that 6-0 lead to work with.
Wasn't as sharp as we've seen lately.
He was really good. And then he got a little gassed, it looked like, and had 4 runs allowed in 5 1/3 innings. Tom Cosgrove came in, got out of the 6th, and then pitched the 7th. Martinez, surprisingly gave up a couple of runs, making it a save situation. Josh Hader answered that call.
Got a little nervous, I'm not going to lie.
No doubt. Of course, man. Of course.
Field, knowing how things go there, especially for the Padres.
No doubt.
Oh, my God. When they brought the tying run to the plate, you're like, this can't happen.
There's no question. I mean, I was a wreck about it too, but man, they had played really well to that point. 4 for 11 with runners in scoring position. Bogarts and Toddy had doubles. Cronenworth hit a triple. All 9 batters got a hit. 5 of them left the yard. Machado hit the 2-run shot. Grisham hit a solo shot. Sanchez with a 2-run shot. Tatis with a solo shot. And Brandon Dixon adding on in the 7th. Loved that. Nothing to complain about in that game whatsoever. I'll take every 9-6 victory you want to throw at me. It was everything that you wanted, especially, following an off day, following a dub. You're like, here we go. Let's get this thing rolling. And 3 is our max. That's about as best we can do this year. And, Ben and I and you, Paulie, and the audience, we've been talking about it, man. At some point, like even an 8 out of 10 isn't going to be enough. You need to rip together 6. This team needs to know that they are capable of winning 5 games in a row. This team needs to, the Oakland A's.
Sweep a series.
Sweep a series. Sweep 2 series back to back. That will kind of sell me on where we're at. Now, I'm not to the point where we had a caller earlier, Mike's on the fringe right now, man. He's
calling it quits.
Yeah, he is.
Rebuilding year.
Done.
He's got 10 guys.
10 trades he wants to do. I'm not there. I'm just not. I'm not. I want to see what this team's made of. I want to see what these players are made of. And it's probably why we've talked about this probably way too much, but it's probably why, Paulie, and people yell at me, you're just too soft on Bob Melvin. We had a DM in our Ben and Woods Instagram after our interview on Friday with Bob Melvin.
Saw this as I was getting ready to leave on Friday morning.
Yeah,
I didn't have it in.
Good guy. Brand, I think his name's Brandon. Good guy. I mean, he's not being a jerk. I wish you guys were harder on Bob Melvin. Okay. I just responded okay. Because my new bit. I'm not gonna get in the weeds on it. You guys should ask him tougher questions. Okay? It's your opinion. It's fine. Whatever. It's why I'm always hesitant to blame managers. It's why I'm always hesitant to blame hitting coaches. It's why I'm always hesitant to blame curses. because I like the onus, Paulie, to fall squarely on the backs of the multi-million-dollar men. That's just how I consume sports. It is. I think that managers can make a big difference.
I mean, look, if Bob Melvin's instructing his pitchers during PFP practices in spring training, hey, when there's a ground ball deep in the hole at first base, I want you to turn to left field and say what's up to your left field.
Then run over. Right. Yeah.
Then that might be a problem. We might need to address that.
That play that Garcia blew, that's not on the skipper. That cement mixer that he threw, that kid making his major league debut, that's not on Bob Melvin. It's just not. And again, you have so many bullets in your gun as a manager, and especially as it pertains to managing the bullpen. You know, honestly, I'll tell you this. There was one thing on, and I know we're supposed to be talking about Friday night's game, but I'm back to Sunday. If Nick Martinez had came in and served it up, I would have called Bob Melvin to the carpet today. Because I would have said, bro, I mean, the guy's clearly, you know, thrown 50 pitches or something, or 45, 50 pitches in the last 2 days. We're going to rely on that guy when you got – I honestly would have come in here and said – if he served it up, I would have said, you just got Garcia back off the IL. He's ready. He's fresh. He's pitched high leverage for us. It's such a thankless job. Unless you win a World Series, it's an absolute thankless job. I don't like to manage in hindsight. I don't. I think it's futile, and I think it's very easy to do. Well, I had a guy yesterday. I would have gone Cosgrove first. Then I go, bro, it doesn't matter. All three of the guys he had left in the bullpen, all of them gave up home runs. Every single one of them.
Yep.
You play your matchups the best you can, and you depend on your players to execute. It's why I don't believe in curses. It's why I don't believe in bitching at the manager or the hitting coach. These guys are big league ball players. Guy said, well, he probably wasn't mentally ready to come back, Luis Garcia. I go,
well, what's he?
I go, he's not in high school, dude. He's a big leaguer. He's pitched in high leverage situations. That's what better time. You need 3 outs. He's a guy that's fresh and has got gas. You know, what did he throw that got hit out? He threw a weak-ass hanging slider, and it got pounded, as weak-ass hanging sliders do in that league, even by kids making their major league debut. So I'm always hesitant. I'm fine pointing the finger at the players. I'm fine pointing the finger at Luis Garcia and saying, you got to be there at first. You got to make a better pitch. I'm fine pointing the finger at Trent Grisham. Bro, take your hacks. You don't need to bunt there. I'm fine.
He swings it well at Coors Field.
No doubt. Why would you ever bunt at
in
Coors
that
Field?
situation? That, to me, says I'm lacking confidence.
Always.
Right now at the plate.
It always does.
And he's not having a good year at the plate.
Nope.
We know that. But he's in a spot where he has had success.
He hit a bomb Friday night. You know, he swung it a little bit better. Got some knocks over the weekend. But, yeah, I just – and I know people want me to come on here and trash the manager. And I'm just like, bro, I'm not going to give him the blame for putting his guys in positions to execute, and they don't execute. That's on the player. It's on me. It's on me. It's not on Adam. If I have a terrible show, it's not Adam's fault. It's my fault. And that's kind of how I try to live my life, being accountable. And yes, there are times when, like, here's the thing with the Blake Snell situation too. Many of the people that were upset that Blake Snell got pulled are the same people that for 3 months now have been like, trade him to the Braves for a can of mustard. I don't know if they make mustard in cans, a jar of mustard. They didn't.
Bottle.
And now you want him, and he had pitched his ass off, no question. Now you want Blake Snell to go into the 8th on one leg. Now he's your gritty, gutty warrior. Now you think he's ready to
There was a lot of, I can't wait to hear what Bob has to say,
Right.
what his excuse was for pulling Snell. I don't know. I thought it was fairly obvious when he did not come back out.
Yeah.
His foot must be hurt.
Correct.
It must be bothering.
108 to the ankle will do that. And so again, I'm not saying never. I would have used Josh Hader in Philly in the NLCS.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let Josh Hader not pitch in that game. You're effing right. We asked him about it, you know, and I'm sure he lays in bed at night thinking, I probably should have gone to Josh Hader, right? But listen, you're going to win some of those. You're going to lose some of those. I'm going to put it on the players. I am. They are paid very handsomely to execute, and they didn't in that particular instance. And he's a cautious manager. He needs to manage, as well as Blake's going right now. Why would you risk him going out and hurting himself further as well as he's pitching? Who replaces him? Reese Kinnear? That's your option.
We're getting second half Snell a little early.
And it's looking phenomenal, man. He feels locked in.
He's been really locked in since Gary Sanchez came to the team.
No doubt.
But really, you go back to beginning of May, he's pitched really well.
He has.
I think only one time he hasn't gone 6 innings.
Yep.
But I think that game was 4 innings and he just labored, but he still gave you a good start.
But the irony is not lost on me that 95% of the people that wanted Blake Snell back out there didn't want Blake Snell on this team, really.
Yeah.
And don't believe in Blake Snell. So that irony was not lost on me at all. And luckily I didn't see much of it at all because I'm not on Twitter. So I did, I saw it on Instagram. We literally posted a clip on Instagram, 97.3 The Fan. Bob, why did you take Blake out? Because of his ankle, it was swelling up, and people are like, freaking idiot, he's got to go. I'm like, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Did you listen to the clip? Did you watch the game? Because it gives you an explanation. And, as long if Blake comes out and makes his next start and continues to stay hot, it's certainly the right move. And I thought it was the right move yesterday. It doesn't matter when a guy comes off the IL. When you send a guy back from the IL, here's what it says to me, who's never managed a big league game. You know what it says to me? All right, this guy's ready to go. He's ready. You know how I know he's ready? Because he's back from the IL. That's the logic that I feel like a lot of people are missing here. If I'm wrong, you tell me. 833-288-0973. Super easy to look back and go, wow, you should have done this, should have done that. I don't think Blake Snell factors into that decision at all. I think he got smoked in the ankle. They took him out as his ankle swelled up, and they did not want to risk further injury. It's such a no-brainer to me. Why is that even an issue at all? So
let's take some calls. We got the phone lines are lit up.
All right, let's
gotta hit traffic real quick and come back. We'll take some calls.
From the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by the San Diego County Sheriff's Department. Not too bad of a ride on our freeways. See the usual slow and usual spots. We do have a stalled vehicle northbound side of the 125 past Hammer Shots in the center divide. The San Diego County Sheriff's Department is working hard to keep San Diego safe and is now hiring. The Sheriff's Department offers rewarding careers with growth and has an opportunity for anyone with integrity that wants to make a difference. Go to joinsdsheriff.net to learn more. That's joinsdsheriff.net. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, let's go out to the phone lines.
Let's start with Alan calling in. You're first up, Alan.
Hello. Good morning, you guys.
Good morning, buddy. How are you?
Well, I'm not so happy from yesterday's game.
Yeah, it sucked.
That's for sure. I think Snell pitched so well.
He did.
Gosh, that was good. That was one of the best pitching performances of the whole year.
So good.
It was great, and I felt so bad for him that we lost that game.
Me too.
But one place I really disagree with you today. Most of the time I agree with you, but to bring Luis Garcia in, I thought was the worst thing to do. When the second I heard that, I thought, oh no! I said that's what I screamed out. Oh no! Because I know he gives up home runs at times.
Yeah.
He's done it in the past, but we're in Coors Field where the ball flies, even in a snowstorm.
Yeah.
That ball flies out of that place. And when you only have a two-run lead, it is so crucial. You don't make that pitch he made. You like you say, those guys are paid millions and millions to play. I would have brought Tim Hill in at that point.
Okay.
He's got that noodle arm. He can pitch day after day, and brought him in to shut them down and get them going into the next inning, where you could have brought in your people that he thought he was going to do. And I think we would have been better off, but I wouldn't have brought, no matter what, Luis Garcia. The next thing is on the players themselves. I don't understand why this team players don't know how to bunt. I do not. You're a coach now, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a coach. So you teach those little kids how to bunt.
No, I'm probably not.
When we grew, I know you're hitting off a T-ball, but I'm saying that's what you're going to be doing when you're in Little League. The first thing when we ever batted, I don't know about you guys, but when I was growing up and playing all this baseball, the first thing we did in batting practice, we would take 4 or 5 bunts.
Of course.
No matter what. No matter what.
I still do it. I still do that. I'm a bunter. You know why I'm a bunter? Because I'm not a good hitter. That's why I bunt. That's why I do it. So it's the bunting thing. I don't know why it's become a thing again in baseball. Probably because your offense is scuffling and you want to try anything you can to get guys over. But In my opinion, there's a time and place to bunt. We bunted last week in the third inning of a game, and that I don't agree with at all. Saw the bunt last night. Yankees, Red Sox. It believe it worked. All right. No, I think they got out of it. You know why? Because they give up an out. I don't like giving up outs. I really don't. Not at this level. And I think they've done enough research to show you that giving up outs, they're so precious. When, a single does a job, a double does a job. And in the case of the San Diego Padres, a lot of the times, man, what's killing this team, it's not being able to get guys over. It's being able to get guys in. Plenty of guys are over because our numbers with runners in scoring position
there's a lot of them.
Are terrible. But in order for those numbers to be terrible, you have to have a lot of guys in scoring position. And we do. We do. That's why we end up going 0 for 11. That to me doesn't say we need to bunt more. It says we need to have better hitters. Hitters need to come through more. Even the old lazy fly ball to get a run in from third with less than 2 outs is something that has eluded this team. That when Brandon Dixon did it last week, it was the happiest I've been. I was like, now we're talking. Now we're talking. That's not small ball. That's just situational baseball. I don't want Juan Soto bunting. He squared once this week and I almost threw up. I don't need Juan Soto bunting. I don't need Manny bunting. I don't need Tatis bunting. I don't need Cronenworth bunting. I don't need those guys bunting. I need those guys hitting the ball in the gaps, driving in runs, and sometimes the occasional lazy sac fly to get a run in. That's what I need out of those guys. And there are, again, I don't want to belabor this point. I'm not telling you you're wrong. I'm telling you I don't agree with it because we are getting plenty of guys on. We are getting plenty of guys over. We are not getting plenty of guys in. I'm not suicide squeezing every time a runner's on third. I'm not safety squeezing every time there's a runner on third. I want base hits to drive in runs. That's all I'm asking for.
Guy on second, trade places with
100%. 100%, Paulie. I don't want to be the bunting team. I don't want to give away outs. They are too precious. And this team has the ability to throw up 5-6 runs in an inning and 9-10 runs a game. All right. We'll reset this bitch next. Halfway home on a Monday. Want to thank our boss Adam for sending tweets because I'm off Twitter, so he did send a tweet over from Andrew Stang. It says another day of 97.3 defending boring Bob Melvin, getting really tired. Don't know what to tell you, Andrew. Bob should have covered first. Bob knows he needs to get to first on that PFP, and he's sitting in the dugout. And that's the wrong move for a manager to make, right? Bob knows he can't throw that slider there.
If I was Bob Melvin, I would simply not throw that pitch in that situation. But.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Andrew. Bob should do better at covering first on a ground ball to first. So
they work on that, right?
But yeah, managers often do. Dave Roberts is good. He's quick. When you'll see him tear ass out of the dugout. He gets the first, no problem.
Never seen a PFP like Skip Schumacher.
He's the GOAT. He's the gold standard there. No, sorry, man. I'm gonna blame the players. I'm always gonna blame the players. It's so tired. It makes me that's the thing that makes me go, oh God. Oh my God. Should work at Sears. Is Sears still around? Because I think I should go work at Sears. Because those are the ones that make me insane. It makes me absolutely insane. And listen, you have what you have in the bullpen and you have to use it. And those were his options that day after a bullpen day the day before. Josh Hader had gone 2 days in a row. I don't think that's a guy they want to use on a wet, slippery mound to go 3 days in a row. Don't know. Probably the case there. He's not a big 3 day in a row guy.
You want to have a conversation about the relief pitchers that are on the roster?
Let's have that conversation.
We can have that conversation.
Absolutely. No doubt.
Also not Bob Melvin's fault.
Yeah, you get, as a manager, you get what they give you, and you try to make the best of it. Yesterday didn't work. And again, I don't want to belabor this point either. They did win 2 of 3. Don't come on the radio station and be like, man, you guys are bumming me out. We won 2 of 3 games, which is just fantastic. So
take that every time.
Got some breaking news here, Paulie, and I know there's a breaking news liner. I will find it right now. Breaking news on 97.3 The Fan is presented by BetQL. Smarter bets start with BetQL. Download the BetQL app or visit BetQL.com today. Did you see this? So about Midway Rising is that development team. They're going to be doing some remodeling down in the Midway District. Well, this is an interesting one to me. They have added Stan Kroenke to the team. Now, you hear Stan Kroenke and you go, oh, that dude has infinite pockets. Kroenke's addition to the Midway Rising team shakes up the group's legal structure, removes doubt about the project's financing prospects, and will no doubt spawn rampant speculation as to whether San Diego can draw another professional sports team to town. Now, we've got the MLS coming here in 2025. That will have nothing to do with this. They're already all dialed in and locked in, got their ownership group and everything else. ESK Midway Rising Investor LLC, a special purpose entity owned by the billionaire and subsidiary of his real estate firm, the Kroenke Group, now has a 90% ownership interest in the Midway Rising endeavor, which is, in my opinion, pretty fantastic. I think Stan Kroenke is the guy that gets things done. He obviously has limitless amounts of cash. They're essentially on the hook to fund almost what is anticipated to be a multi-billion-dollar project. A project cost is yet to be discussed or disclosed, but is anticipated next month. Wow. So what does that mean for the city of San Diego?
Well, clearly, it means that the Nuggets, who are going to win the NBA Finals tomorrow night,
right,
are going to be moving
here,
packing up their bags, packing up their trophy, and they're going to be playing right here in San Diego next year.
So what does he own?
He owns the Rams. He owns the Nuggets. He owns the Avalanche, and I believe he owns maybe multiple soccer teams, football clubs.
All right. So Stan Kroenke is making his presence felt once again.
Stan Kroenke has entered the chat.
He has entered the chat here on Ben and Woods. So we will keep you abreast of
battle of the billionaires between him and Joe Tsai.
Seriously, and we'll see what is going on. I would love another pro sports team here, obviously for content's sake, but it'd be fun to have an NHL team to root for or an NBA team to root for. Even me, Mr. Anti-NBA, I have watched a lot of the finals. The Nuggets have taken a very, very commanding 3-1 lead. And look, almost unbeatable at this point. Feels like they're really locked in. That layoff didn't do them much harm whatsoever.
Sometimes you see that.
Some you do. You see it come out a little flat.
cold. Yeah, no, they've been firing on all cylinders. Joker's
incredible.
He's
Aaron Gordon,
unbelievable to watch.
So that one should wrap up when? When's the next game?
Tomorrow night.
So yeah, I think that'll be. I'll lose my bet
tonight.
I took over 5.5, and they're at 4 now. So I have a lot of work to do. Okay, it is tonight.
Stanley Cup is tomorrow.
Stanley Cup tomorrow. What's that series at?
3-1 Vegas.
3-1 Vegas.
Yeah.
Woo! All right. So both
Tonight,
finals.
5:30. Game 5 in Denver.
Both finals at 3-1.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll let you know what we hear on that. Let you know what we hear, what the plan is for Stan Kroenke. I mean, could just be a killer real estate deal that he's involved in. I don't know that
some condos.
Yeah, I don't know that it necessarily means bringing in a new team. I hope it does. I really, really hope it does at some point. That would be incredible, and I would love that. But those kind of things take time. Get the rumor mill started, though. I remember Ben at a time was going to spearhead the charge for an NBA team. Remember that bid he was going to do, but it wasn't like a bid. He was like ready to meet with city council members and stuff. And then I think he looked and said, it's really a lot of work. And I already have 2 jobs. And I'm a dad.
It's kind of going to be the backbone of his campaign for mayor of San Diego.
I mean, it's going to be tough for him to get elected at this point. How much does he really have to give to the city of San Diego with 2 full-time jobs? So we'll see. Benny
running off to Catalina every
week. Dude, the vacations end. You can't go play polo and horseback ride when you have a city to run. Even though a lot of mayors and they do that. They go play golf and stuff all the time.
I just saw him behind you run into the bathroom. Our buddy John Flint came in this morning, since we're doing a little reset here.
Well, Father's Day reset, as it were.
5:59 and 30 seconds. I mean, we are about to crack the mics, and he sticks his head in and told us maybe the funniest thing we've ever heard right before a show. He said he was having a dream and last night, and it was about his father. He's no longer with us. Shout out to his family. And it was, and we're like, oh, that's really cool, man. And what was his exact phrase? Do you remember? He said,
I was visited by my father in a dream last night. He goes, yeah, normally that would be pretty cool because I lost my dad.
Yeah.
He goes, yeah, but my dad told me you have the lowest listened to morning show in the country, by the way.
Oh, thanks, Dad.
Thanks for showing up, Dad.
The
lowest listened to. And he said he woke up like in a panic. Like, well, he doesn't, number one, not even close, but still, he said he woke up and I said, oh, it's not how you want to be visited from your old man in a dream. Had a great weekend. I watched a movie, Paulie. Maybe you've heard of it. I thought, in typical me fashion, I thought it was new. You ever heard of The Martian with Matt Damon?
Yeah,
it's like 9 years old.
Yeah, like 2015 or something.
So I'm scrolling around. I needed something to watch, and
2015,
and I like it's 2023.
Yeah.
So I needed something to watch, and I was scrolling around Apple Music or whatever, Apple Store, and I go, oh, The Martian. This looks awesome. I clicked like the read more. Man left on Mars, abandoned on Mars. I'm like, well, that sounds great. It's like Castaway in space. I love Castaway. Space movies dome me out a little bit because I'm always anxiety ridden with we're out of air or like I'm floating in space, hurtling through space is very scary to me. But I put the movie on. I fell in love with it. Fantastic movie. And I was like, I'm going to come in and tell these guys about how great the movie The Martian is. And my wife goes, yeah, everybody's seen The Martian. Everybody, every human. It was a really big movie when it came out. She's like, when I was like 17. And it's really, really good. And I go, she goes, you idiot. Like, we could have watched this together. I've seen it. And I go, well, I'm watching it. And it was really good. He grows potatoes on Mars with his own poop as fertilizer. And he has nothing but potatoes, Paulie, the whole time. So I thought to myself, all right, where would you, Stephen Woods, or where would you, Paul Reindl?
Matt Damon won the Golden Globe. Best actor.
It's a huge film. I just saw it. I just picked it up. I finished it last night, dude, before I went to bed. But I thought to myself, all right, Paulie, do you want his survival place or do you want where Tom Hanks was in Castaway? Where do you have a better shot at surviving? Space?
The island.
The island.
For
It's
sure.
It's definitely the island.
Not even close.
You feel
What are
somebody's
they do
gonna,
on Mars?
no one's coming. When they were talking about how long it takes missions to get there, like, yeah, they'd be here in like 2 years. Like, what? I got 2 more years over by myself eating doo-doo potatoes that I made and grew. And I thought, oh, give me the island. The coconuts, the fish.
Spear some fish.
Somebody's got to come by at some point. I'm probably not going to be able to make the sail out of that porta potty. I'm probably not going to be able to make a raft. But I could make it a week on that island. It would suck.
That's the thing. I'm not going to survive long.
No,
I'm
but
certainly not surviving as long as Tom Hanks did on the island.
No, he made it 4
But
years.
I'm making it longer on the island than I am on Mars.
It's just by yourself on Mars on another planet. Having to like build things and do math, do tons of math.
Well done.
I could have done one. I could have done a week. I could go 1 week on the island.
Get some packages floating up.
Yeah, you open the packages, ice skating around, whatever, whacking up those coconuts. I could do it 1 week, but I could not have done the Mars thing. Hey, by the way, highly recommended new movie for you guys to watch, The Martian with Matt Damon. I think you'll really enjoy it if you haven't seen it. Now, maybe you saw it a decade ago like everybody else did, and you'd forgotten how good it is. It's really, really good.
Number one song of 2015. What's going to come in tomorrow? Hey, have you guys heard this Uptown Funk?
Yeah,
by
it's really cool.
Bruno Mars.
It's really cool. So yeah, I'm about 9-10 years behind everybody. So that's how we go. Coming up next hour, gonna have our pal Jake Mintz from Cespedes Family Barbecue on a Grand Ole Monday. Now, Grand Ole Monday sponsors
Grand Ole Barbecue.
Grand Ole Barbecue sponsors the Cespedes Family Barbecue, which is not a barbecue joint. It's just the name of their podcast.
They're not even a barbecue podcast.
They're not even a barbecue podcast. They don't even talk about barbecue. Talk about baseball, and they're really, really good at it. Going to join us at 8:35 in season. Sammy Levitt coming up at 9:35. Going to hang with us.
I think he's going to jump on a little early with us.
I
Do
love
a couple of segments.
Sammy has carte blanche. You can do whatever you want.
That's what I told him.
The great Paul Reindl, the Reindl Report. You'll hear that as well. So we still have a very, very busy show for you. Got an hour and 45 left, and we will be right back. It's Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. All right, welcome back. Ben and Woods, 97.3, The Fan. It's just me and Paulie today. Benny is out on his first vacation of the year. Is that right? First? He's missed a day or two, I think, but this is like
first vacation.
This is the first one. He's
late for him, late start.
Oh,
in 2023.
Massively late start, which you know what that means.
He's gonna make up for
a lot of catching up to do.
We still got the trade deadline.
Yeah, he'll take that off. He'll definitely take that off.
This team's gonna lose like 4 in a row.
Yeah.
And then
They'll be
have a
out
weekend series where they'll get swept. It'll be down 7 in a row.
He'll be off Monday.
And he'll be off like for 4 days that next week.
Yeah, he was like elated. He was elated that Padres lost yesterday.
The ball hadn't even landed.
It hadn't
yet.
landed, and we got a text. Have a great show. Like,
I'll kill you.
Man, the sweep would have been sweet. Would have been so sweet. So if you go a little bit behind the numbers, man, 97 games left for our beloved San Diego Padres. Can they get it done? Can they figure? Again, we are all seeing the offense perform just a little bit better at times. We are seeing just a little bit more clutch. The defense has been pretty solid all year. I feel like they've eliminated Paulie.
A lot of really good plays defensively this
A
week.
lot of good plays, yeah. Manny, Soto,
Manny's
Nando.
catch, Nando throwing off showing off the cannon at second, and then he had that play. It wasn't a diving catch, but that running catch in the gap.
Incredible.
Soto's double play yesterday. I don't really know why he threw to third, but we still got him.
I'm so surprised he caught it that he just got up and he panicked.
Maybe he thought he trapped it.
He's a chucker.
I don't know, but
He's
I
a
loved
chucker.
it.
I loved it too.
That catch from Manny, though, was
Ha-Seong Kim.
one of the best catches.
Ha-Seong Kim turning in some great plays. I thought Crony's play down the line was great.
Xander had a nice pick and spin yesterday.
Yep. I thought Crony's play down the line was great. Had there been a pitcher there to catch the ball,
Would have been nice.
Would have been solid. Luis Garcia is he's on my S list right now. It was a terrible, terrible outing from him. But I guess it's Bob Melvin's fault. So yeah, I am seeing some better things. I'm seeing some aggressiveness on the base paths. It's a hard word to say. Aggressiveness on the base paths. I can't say it, Paulie. Base paths. Aggressiveness on the base paths. Manny did get thrown out.
I broke my back.
Yeah, I broke my back. Final. Some aggressiveness on the base path from our San Diego Padres. And I like it. I don't mind seeing aggressive play. I like to see it rewarded, certainly with stolen bags and whatnot, but I'm liking what I'm seeing. I am. Yesterday's game notwithstanding, it was just kind of a clunker. Nobody could get outs when we needed them the most. So, and I think it's a symptom too of using some of your higher leverage guys to get those wins the day before. It's hard to get a sweep. And you feel like Snell pitched him well enough to get one, and I feel bad for him. He's like Blake DeGrom. That's the old Jacob DeGrom. Guy goes out, throws 7 innings of 2-hit ball, strikes out 13, gives up 1 run. They lose 3-1. That's just been the path of Blake Snell this year. But I am so encouraged with the way he's throwing the ball. Hope that the ankle is okay.
Thank God we've moved past putting so much weight into pitcher wins.
Yeah,
because he has had a damn good season through 2.5 months.
Give me his line. Give me his win-loss, ERA, the whole thing.
Let me pull that up here really quickly. I'm glad you asked,
Got some time to kill
Woodsy,
here.
as we're sitting here on a Monday.
Live on the radio.
Live on the radio. Blake Snell. Okay, here we go. His season line, he has started 13 games. Got a nice 69 innings pitched. So he is 2-6 with a 3.78 ERA. He's walked 37. He struck out 81.
Good Lord.
29 earned runs. I mean, look, and you go to his game log. Let me pull that up here. He hadn't gone through 6 innings until May. It was May 1st was his first start in May. 6 innings. He had 4 innings in the loss to Boston, and then 5 innings, 6 innings, 6 innings, 7 innings. He's pitched well. That was our biggest critique of Blake Snell. Get into the 6th, man. Get through the 6th if you can. But you got to go beyond 5.
Yeah, one of those guys that guys aren't scoring for right now, and it's a bummer. But you love to see the second half Blake Snell get here a little bit early, because I think I think that's what makes it so frustrating is like, man, you have to capitalize on those good days from Blake Snell because listen, they have been few and far between, a little bit closer lately, pitching much, much better as of late, but you got to capitalize, man. When he goes out and strikes out 12 guys and has those guys on their heels feeling like crap, that they can't hit, he dominated them all day. You got to be able to put up some more runs off to Nelson Lamet and his 13 ERA. Those are the ones that kill you, the Jameson Taliones and the Dinelson Lamets, the guys that you have to destroy, just like you did Austin Gomber. You battled Freeland really hard, but man, just no opportunity. You had opportunity to bust that game open and you didn't do it. I thought Soto was absolutely hosed, hit a screaming missile up the middle, but right at the shortstop for a double play, got them out of a big inning too. So yeah, a couple of things you look back on yesterday and say, kind of got away from us a little bit, but we were still in position to win the ball game. We just didn't. I thought that home run by Ryan McMahon was one of the most impressive home runs I've ever seen in my life off Tom Cosgrove through a driving rain, not a light sprinkle. The ball's coming through a driving rain.
You're gonna think every drop is pushing that ball back down.
And he's just looking, tracking, and bam, hits it a ton. I was really impressed by that. I hated it. I hated every second of it, but I was very, very impressed by that home run. And hey, sometimes you got to tip your hat. Cardinals or the Rockies came out and kind of refused to lose that game yesterday. Brent Honeywell served it up and said, yeah, I just have to make a better pitch there. I think a bell tie changeup probably isn't what you had in mind.
Would agree with him.
Would agree. He had the first 2 outs of that inning. And, it's baseball. It is what it is. Took the series and onward and upward. Cleveland coming in tomorrow for how many? 3? Is that right?
3 for Cleveland. Off today. 6:40 tomorrow. 6:40 Wednesday. 5:40, I believe, on Thursday, and then we welcome Tampa Bay Rays.
Cool
weekend.
I'll be there Friday. Looking forward to it.
Got to take care of business
This
against
is
the Guardians.
It's a good little,
for sure.
It's a good little measuring stick, isn't it? Just to see kind of where you are and
fairly favorable schedule in the month of June.
Yeah,
just overall in the month of June, but that's going to be the test. Right
tough
there.
week here. Cleveland's tough. They can be tough. Jose Ramirez is a stud. Don't give him one single pitch to hit. Don't walk guys. You can beat Cleveland. Tampa Bay is going to be a different story altogether. I can't wait to see how these teams match up. I really, really can't. So
Tampa Bay has won 8 out of their last 10. They are cruising.
They're cruising. Just beat Bruce Bochy's Rangers, I think. Was that the they take 2 or 3 from Bochy's Rangers? I believe that's the case. I could be wrong. But no, it was a good weekend. It was. I know it's hard to sit here this week right now and say, no, it was
They took 2 out of 3 from the Astros.
Astros, okay. And I think they had played the Rangers last week. The Rangers may have actually played them pretty well.
No?
I
haven't played the Rangers yet.
Yeah, they have. They played the Rangers. I'm telling you.
Okay, well, before the Astros, it was the Red Sox, then the Twins, then the Orioles, then the Cardinals, then the White Sox,
Maybe
then
not.
the Mets, then the White Sox.
Who am I thinking of?
I don't know.
I don't either. It's Monday. A little tired.
They have not faced the Texas
I'm
Rangers
telling you, they have faced the Texas Rangers at some point.
in previous years.
Probably
yes.
like opening week.
Not this season.
What am I thinking of?
I don't know.
Yeah, Rays Rangers. Oh, that's coming up in July. We'll get it figured out. Take a break. We got Jake Mintz joining us, Paulie, from Cespedes Family Barbecue. And he's been in France for like 10 days. So how much baseball was he?
I was looking at Guardians. I think you said the Guardians.
No, I said the Rangers.
No, the Guardians. I thought you said played the Rays.
No, I thought you said I was all right, Spider. The Rangers and the Rays.
Got to reset this.
So tell me, how did they do against the Rays?
Pulling it up. Put me on the spot here.
I feel like an idiot.
The Rays.
Yes, Rays Rangers.
2 out of 3
Yes,
Rangers.
that's what I said. All right.
I was looking at the Guardians. I think you said Cleveland.
No, I said Tampa. All right, let's go to break. Welcome Jake in next. That was a fun segment.
So fun.
Welcome back, Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Happy Monday to you. Coming off a fresh series win in Colorado. It still does feel like the world is ending. I get it. Had some really, really interesting takes today. Certainly. It's a Monday. That's how it goes. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl. It's a grand old Monday. About to be joined by our pals from Cespedes Family Barbecue next. Let's check traffic. We'll be right back with Jake.
From the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Hummel Casino. A couple things in the North County to mention here. One is this crash blocking the two right lanes, westbound 78 right before the 5, and northbound 5 before Loma Santa Fe, stalled car over the right shoulder. Kick off summer at Hummel Casino's annual block party on Saturday, June 17th, with live music, DJs, free food, $20 in free play, and lots of fun. See HummelCasinoSD.com for details. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And joining us on our Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline, none other than our favorite guy. Well, they're both of our favorites, but we haven't seen him in a while. It's Jake Mintz from Cespedes Family Barbecue. Jake, welcome back. Bonjour, if you will. Good to see you again.
Bonjour, my friends. Thank you for having me. Yes, I was in France for a week and a half. Perfect time to take a vacation.
Yeah, it really was. Thoughts on France. Where did you go?
Not enough baseball over
Not
there.
enough baseball. No.
Was this a work trip? Were you scouting? Were you working on podcast stories?
Was I scouting? Yeah, I was. Yeah, I actually ran into AJ Preller at
It wouldn't surprise us, actually.
Middle school.
French middle school. Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, you know how it goes. No, I was over there taking a little bike trip across eastern France. It was lovely. It was a good mental reset as it was.
So you went biking. Were you like did you spend time in Paris, or was this just like, I'm gonna bike for the okay?
Yeah, I was in Paris for like 3 or 4 days, and then did some biking in the region of Champagne.
Wow,
which is where champagne comes from, and then
exactly
Alsace,
yeah,
near the German border. It was a very interesting trip. I learned a lot, and I rode a lot of miles on my bike, and I was able to watch just a smidgen of baseball along the way.
So did you? I don't, because it doesn't make sense in my head when you said, like, I took my bike with me. I'm going on vacation to drink and eat and sleep. I'm not working out, which to me, riding a bike is working out. I'm not exercising at all.
No, I understand where you're coming from. All human beings search for mental peace.
Yes.
Right? The silence in their head that blocks out the noise of this cruel world. And for some people, it's like yoga or meditating,
right,
or booze, or, other items. And for me, it is being exhausted on my bike. It gives me the ultimate joy.
You like to challenge yourself. I do not. That's
now,
fine.
You a couple years ago.
Oh, you
Jake,
did.
You went on a bike trip for charity, and that was kind of where we thought we need to get these guys on the air.
That's the first time we started reaching out. Yeah, it's exactly right.
Yeah. So I mean, I could rehash that.
Do it.
I went on our podcast and I said, if the White Sox hire Tony La Russa, I'll walk to Chicago from New York. And then they hired Tony La Russa, and I had to eat crow. And I didn't walk it because it would have taken 2 months, but I did bike it. It was like 1,200 miles. We raised like $30,000 for charity. It was great.
That is really, really incredible. Because you thought there's no way they're going to hire an aging Tony La Russa fresh off of a DUI. Like, there's just not, it's not going to happen.
And like, to be clear, I was wrong, but I was also right.
Yes, no, you were right. At the end of the day. That's why, I've been in the radio business a long time. We're talking to Jake Mintz from Cespedes Family Barbecue. You learn, I've had to do a show in a diaper before. You learn to just stop making bets. I've threatened.
That was Slam Diego.
That was Slam Diego.
They won't hit a grand slam in 4 straight games.
Yeah, then Eric Hosmer got me, and I had to do a whole show in a diaper, in an adult diaper and nothing else. And I do that, though, before I would walk a long distance. But, man, it's good to see you again. What have you been following since you got back? I know you only got back a couple of days ago. What surprised you the most about our great game since you left?
I got back last night late, and so I woke up early this morning, still jet lagged, and I watched one of the more bizarre Yankees Red Sox showdowns that we've had in recent memory. This is the rivalry for baseball, right? For better or worse, as much as we want to say other teams, the larger sports world thinks about Red Sox Yankees more than they think about like everything else combined.
They certainly jam it down our throats before the game, doing, showing all the things that happened. But
yes,
everything that happened was 20 years ago, at best. It's wild.
Yes, indeed. So over at Fox Sports last week, I wrote about why the rivalry has mellowed, why it is chill, and why it is not what it once was. And the conclusion I kind of came to is twofold. One, the players on the Red Sox and the Yankees, there's been so much turnover over the last 5 years. Do you remember when they brawled in 2018 with Joe Kelly and Tyler Austin?
Tyler Austin, yeah.
So there's only like 5 players left from those teams, right? And it's like Aaron Judge and Rafael Devers who are not.
They're not brawling anyone,
guys, right?
They could, and they'd be good, but they're not going.
That would be fun to watch.
Yeah. And so other than that, like the teams are different, and the Red Sox and Yankees have had so much turnover that there's not enough time for these guys to get mad at one another.
Right.
In the same way that there was for all those years. I think it's going to get even less spicy as we move forward, and they're only playing 14 times a year instead of 19. And then the biggest one is like Aaron Boone and Alex Cora, who are the managers. They work together at ESPN. And so they're like friends.
Yes.
And so I think it's worth thinking about, why does beef originate in baseball? It's because things fester and things linger and they go unresolved. It's more about a miscommunication that leads to issues. These guys are communicating. And so it's not the same level of spice as it was. And I think we kind of saw that, even though it's, important for the fans, and Red Sox and Yankees fans love beating the other team, it certainly lacks the heft that it did about 15, 20 years ago.
What's your favorite right now in baseball? Because there's a lot of rivalries I do like. You see kind of it gets a little squirrely. Basically, when anyone plays the Toronto Blue Jays, they like to fight, they like to scrap, but now they've lost the biggest S starter from their group, Alek Manoah, sent down, basically back to instructionals pretty much at this point, which bit of a surprise after the offseason of constant mouth running, wanting to fight everybody, every single start. It's pretty nuts.
I love Alek Manoah.
I do too.
I love that he runs his mouth. I wish baseball had more people who were willing to say the quiet part out loud, whether it is about how good they think they are or how much of a bum they think the opponent is. Everyone thinks these things, and in other sports it's said out loud, but baseball, we have a culture of, performative selflessness. And so Manoah was one of the brave few willing to, open up his voice box, and he's been rewarded for his bravery by sucking up a storm all season long. And he was sent back, like you said, to the complex, not just to AAA, but like to the complex.
Yeah.
On your phone, there's like a factory reset button.
Yes.
Where that's what they're doing with Alek Manoah.
Yeah.
They're deleting all the photos and the videos and the apps, right? And they're just going to let him start from scratch, which is good. I mean, he was such a good pitcher last year. The talent's not gone. It's just such a bizarre thing that's happened to him. It's like he got space jammed.
Yeah.
And there's some alien out there pitching like Alek Manoah.
It's nuts. Talking to Jake Mentz from Cespedes Family Barbecue. One of the theories I read on it, pitch clock related, and they weren't, the people weren't saying he's too fat to handle the pitch clock. It was the way that they phrased it was he might lack in conditioning, which is a nice way to say you could lose.
Can I talk about this?
Yeah.
I have thoughts about this.
Okay, good. Yeah.
It is very easy to look at a hefty pitcher and say he is bad because he is out of shape.
Correct.
But pitching is different than really like any other physical activity in sports. Yes, you need some sort of stamina because you're working over the course of a long game, but it's more about feeling comfortable and powerful within your own body. And we have seen examples of players losing weight and getting worse.
Sabathia.
Remember how bad Skinny Cece was?
Terrible.
Right? And then he put it back on and he was a beast again.
David Wells.
And like David Wells. Like there are guys who understand their bodies and are comfortable at that point. And then there are players who are not that, right? And it's important to understand the distinction. Like Alek Manoah is a big boy. He has always been a big boy. He has been an elite major league pitcher as a big boy.
Yeah.
And so I think it is kind of misguided, those theories of being like, oh, this large guy is bad because he's large. Like, no, he was good last year when he looked the exact same. So I always want to push back a little bit against that. And just because, like, look at these linemen in the NFL. Just because you're hefty doesn't mean you don't have stamina.
Yeah, and
right?
that you're not conditioned. The one thing that it kind of made sense was before that, it was I can get the ball, take my time, reset, refocus for the next pitch. The fact that you're throwing and you got to be ready and you got to be ready and you got to be ready may have something to do with at least messing with your mentals a little bit of like, I'm a little bit out of breath here. I don't really have time to catch it. But again, I mean, he's pitched at that weight for a long, long time. He would look very weird if he looked like Chris Sale out there. It wouldn't fit.
Remember Skinny Prince Fielder? Like,
yes,
that was bad too, right? Like, there are dudes who are comfortable at a weight.
Yep.
Right. And it is so easy as sports fans or prognosticators to be like, oh, he's out of shape, he's lazy, he doesn't care. But it's never that simple. Sometimes it is actually. Sometimes it is that simple.
Sometimes
it's
it is.
Rarely that simple.
Interesting. Talking to Jake Mintz, who is half of our Cespedes family barbecue. What other stories in baseball have been, we can talk Padres. We've been talking Padres all morning. It's been a little,
this might have happened. This was probably starting before your trip to Paris, but were you surprised to see when you got back that Gary Sanchez is the greatest catcher in Major League Baseball history?
Best catcher of all time.
On his, fourth team in 12 months?
Yep.
I think that you're missing the story here. I think the story is that Padres fans overreact. I think that might be the story, not Gary Sanchez.
No, we know.
What? What? Good for him though.
I know.
Awesome.
Good,
Great. Whatever.
Good dude. Yes.
My thoughts on that are all right. That's it.
That's it.
I don't have any thoughts on Gary
All
Sanchez.
right,
I don't
see how long it
he'll
lasts.
probably start striking out in a little bit and it'll come back to earth, but that's fine.
I
You know
hate
what I
it.
mean?
No, I hate it.
The
'cause
one-
I know you're right.
The one story that caught my attention last night, did you see the kid on Stanford throwing 156 pitches?
156 pitches, struck out 16, I believe. Yeah, man. Where do you stand there?
I am very conflicted on this, to be honest with you. And I am conflicted on this as someone who sits here today with a surgically reconstructed elbow,
right,
from throwing too much in Division III baseball. And as someone who still has pain when I do a push-up or a pull-up.
Right.
I wouldn't trade it for the world. My experiences as a college baseball player mean so much to me, and that I went out there and took the ball as often as I did, like I still take pride in that. Is that problematic? Maybe. Sue me. Whatever. I don't care. I think that the simple level of Quinn Matthews at Stanford throwing 156 pitches, it's important to know the context. One, not like a big prospect, right? And so this is not the top pick in the draft going out there and blowing his arm out, right? At the same time, it is the responsibility of the adult in the room to understand when enough is enough. But also at the same time, Quinn Matthews is a senior at Stanford, okay? He clearly has a good head on his shoulders, and he clearly knows his own body.
Yeah.
And so I think it is important when a situation like this happens to understand it within the context. Throwing that many pitches is probably not great. It's also an unbelievable accomplishment for the kid. Both of those things are true, right? And I think like what I saw online today was, this guy deserves to be fired. Or it's, this kid is a legend. And it's actually a lot more complicated than that, I think. We talked about it for a while on our podcast today. Where do you guys fall on it? I'm curious.
You know, it's tough. I coach my little guy. Now we're in T-ball now, but it's something I'm already cognizant of.
Right, like in T-ball, you probably stop the kid at like 130.
Yeah, he goes 130 and that's it. But I'm even like, as I know he's going to progress up through baseball, and he loves the game so much. All he wants to do is work on his game. He's going to want the ball. He's going to want to pitch. There's a tendency when you're like, let's say it's him. He's our best pitcher. Like, and I know they put rules in place and things like that. Fine. I think that's a really, really good idea. 60 pitch max. But once you get to where you have a little bit more freedom in high school and you're like, guy's shoving. How do I pull him out? He's at 94 pitches. He's 15 years old. I can understand the mentality behind that too. But I think one thing is important. That could have been that guy's last time he ever grabbed a baseball in a competitive game. You know what I'm saying?
And it's so important
it's
here.
So
that
important.
Is so important.
It's so important to know. And if he goes to his coach, he goes, dude, I am so locked. I feel so good. please don't take this ball from me. How do you put that on the coach? You're like, this could be I'm going to be an attorney in 2 years. I don't, this is
Not
what I want.
Steven Strasburg,
Right.
like in the Mountain West Conference tournament.
Right. This
or
is what I want
something.
to remember
Yeah.
from my career is throwing that 156. And that's some legendary stuff.
100%. And that's it's complicated, but like this kid was drafted last year in the 19th round.
Yeah, 19th round.
He said, thanks, but no thanks. I want to go back for my senior year at Stanford and try and win a national championship. He understands the calculus here, and he probably understands calculus here. Like he is making an informed decision to do something like this. And it's unfortunate because what it does is it muddies the waters of the circumstances where this is a real problem. Like if you're going to throw a first round pick out there for 130 when
That's
you're up by a lot of runs, that's an issue. And that's putting someone at risk whose financial well-being is tied to their elbow health. Whereas like this kid, it's not that situation. And so I would like to kind of appreciate the athletic accomplishment while also understanding the context of it. And if people think I'm being reckless, like, all right, I get it. That's fine. I can't straighten my right arm. Maybe that's irresponsible. But I watch something like this and it fires me up a little bit and also scares me.
Yeah, me and you both. Absolutely. Well, always great stuff from our pal Jake Mentz. Welcome back to America and get some rest. You're going to be jet lagged for a couple days, but really appreciate you jumping on with us this morning, buddy.
Absolutely.
All right, talk soon. Jake Mentz from Cespedes Family Barbecue on a grand old Monday here on Ben and Woods. And of course, Jake did did join us on the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall Chevrolet. Find new roads. Always brings it. I saw that line last night, Paulie.
Yeah.
And I thought, holy smokes. Now,
That was incredible. You do not see that very often.
No, it's and
If ever.
the sad part is we are at that point when we do see it, we go, oh, that's malpractice. That's malpractice from that coach. But again, I think you need to know the circumstances of what's going on.
I liked that conversation we just had. I think it puts a little bit of context to it.
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
mean, and like he said, he did it. He did it in college, D3, not at Stanford, certainly. Did it in college and doesn't regret it at all, taking the ball as many times as he did. If you love to pitch and love to play the game, it's not something that's ever going to bother you. Really, it's just not. It's not. There were big league managers that were notorious for that. Dusty Baker was one of them. Notorious. Kerry Wood, Mark Pryor, those guys. I mean, somewhere in the deep, dark recesses of their minds, they're like, yeah, man, we were overused. We were absolutely overused by our manager and the team that was running the Chicago Cubs at the time. And both of them blew out their arms. Two of the best I've ever seen live, ever. Kerry Wood and Mark Pryor. And, both have gone on to nice lives and made some money and things like that. But you wanted out of those guys, you wanted a 15-year career. Steven Strasburg, probably overused at times in his career as well. So, hey, listen, he's got his ring. He got a big contract too. I don't feel too bad for him, even though I know he wants to be back on the bump.
You do feel bad.
I feel bad. I feel bad that he can't continue doing what he loves to do. That's it. But, he reached the highest of the highs, and there's something to say for that as well.
Hey, real quick, call now. We got a pair of tickets to Wednesday's Padres-Guardians game. The first 40,000 fans in attendance will receive a free City Connect Hawaiian shirt. We got one in here still. Details at padres.com/giveaways. But if you want to go to Wednesday's game, it's a 6:40 start. Call now, 833-288-0973.
I like it. I like it a lot. Still got in-season Sammy Levitt going to be joining us. We got the Reindl report coming up next.
Ooh, when bits go bad.
Bits go bad. I like it.
Yeah, how about that?
Do that next. Thanks for hanging in. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Shout out to our man Carl, Tier 1 Carl, just won a pair of tickets to go see the Padres. What game, Paulie? Wednesday night.
Hawaiian T-shirt giveaway night.
I love the Hawaiian shirt. Got it at the house. Looks so good in the closet. I told you I had the Hawaiian shirt phase and my. Hey,
that still just shocks.
Does
me.
it though? At the end of the day,
a little bit.
It worked though. It worked. It did the job. Paul,
sure it was the shirt that did the job.
I mean, I'll give the shirt more credit than my good looks. I did send a picture out on Instagram over the weekend. You saw it, Paulie.
My God.
It laid you out. You can put it in the chat if you want or tweet it if you have it still. My grandmother, my beloved nanny, that's what we call them in Texas, just randomly started sending me pictures from when I was a baby and when I hit my late teens and early 20s.
This would be the easiest way.
Yeah, just hold it up. That's me and my mom there. And for those of you,
soul patch.
There was a soul patch. It was a big player back then. The way I looked at it, Paulie, is if Eddie Vedder had one, then I was going to. Also, the other reason I grew it? It's the only facial hair I could grow at the time. That's it. The mustache, which was, how everyone has an eye. They're so ironic, and you have a mustache now. And look at me, and I work in here, and I'm a bartender, and I have a mustache. I get it. But back then, if you had a mustache, we're talking early 90s, mid 90s. If you had a mustache then, you were a dirtbag porno lover, right? And so I couldn't grow a beard, so I could grow the soul patch. So I rocked the soul patch. That's what I did, and I did it, and I tweeted it out this weekend, and had Creed playing in the background. I didn't tweet it out. I put it on my Instagram story. And the 90s were a very weird time. And those of you listening that lived through it too, you know what I'm talking about. Guy said, why did I know? Ryan Phillips said, why did I know this is exactly what you look like? In that era. And I go, yeah, that's it. It's exactly
Woods was out at the bar.
Yeah.
Cruising
Soul
for
patch.
chicks,
Yeah.
Soul patch and Hawaiian shirt.
Oh, it's disgusting.
Wow.
I'm disgusted with myself. Not really. Good times. Many, many good times were had back then. All right, Paulie, let's get to your fun segment.
All righty.
And get things started here with our
Benny
edition, today's edition of the Rindle Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Rindle Report with Paul Rindle.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Rindle Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a oh yeah?
All right.
All right.
Guy in the chat says, bring back the soul patch, Woodsy. All right. If the Padres win every game this week, Monday through Friday, they don't play Monday. That's today. Tuesday through Friday.
Sweep the Guardians.
And then when
How about
4 in a row. They win 4 in a row. I'll bring the patch back for a week.
How about
everything?
if they sweep the Guardians? They haven't swept
All
the
right,
team all
fine,
year.
fine. Have they not had one sweep? They have.
I don't believe so. They've only won 3 in a row, and I think that carried over.
Was a carryover. Have we not swept one team? One person.
I don't believe we have.
Come on. The Oakland A's have won 5 in a row, Paulie. They have won 5 in a row.
We won 3 in a row this last week.
Okay.
Beating
Not a sweep.
Seattle and then the first 2.
Right. 2 game
against
sweep doesn't
Colorado
count. It doesn't count. The Giants in Mexico. That's it. That's 2 games. It doesn't count.
That doesn't count.
That's the only one.
They won 2 out of 3 with the Nationals.
No,
Yeah.
we haven't swept anybody. I don't count a 2 game. I don't count it. I'm not counting. All right, 3 game sweep. You get the soul patch.
April 29th. Yeah, the 2 in San Francisco or
doesn't
against
count.
Mexico in Mexico City
Doesn't
against
count.
the San Francisco Giants, and then they won the first game against the Reds. Dropped the next one. Still won that series, but yeah, they have not swept the team.
All right, you'll get it. You win 3 against the Guardians. Guess what? Friday, I come in here, guns blazing, with the soul patch and the soul patch only.
You're gonna shave everything.
Everything
but-
else is gone, just the patch, and I'll
All right.
rock it for a full solid week. I want this team to start winning some ball games.
Yeah, I heard it here.
We have an update from Ben, by the way.
We do.
Yeah, they were supposed to board the Catalina Express at 8:30.
There it is.
And I texted him. I said, "Are you on the ferry right now? I need a pic of you on the ferry." He said, "I'm waiting to board still." And he sent the picture of the Catalina Express. So hopefully no mechanical problems or anything like that. Would be funny for content. As long as he lived, it would be very funny for content if Ben was swept out to sea.
Flailing around on a little dinghy. Quit playing with your dinghy.
Quit playing with your dinghy.
All right, so
Go ahead.
let's start with some bits gone bad. We talked about the NBA Finals a little bit.
Yeah.
Game 5 tonight in Denver as the Nuggets have a 3-1 series lead, looking to close that out tonight. But on Friday night at halftime, the Miami Heat tried to this is one of those things where it starts as a bit and you never know, like, when did the bit end and this become real serious? So Friday night at halftime, the Heat had Conor McGregor come out and he was hyping up a pain relief spray called TIDL Sport.
Tittle Sport. And
part of the skit involved him pretending to knock out the Miami Heat mascot, Bernie, BURNIE, and then he would take out a bottle of Tittle and spray it with him, and he'd be good to go.
I just saw the punch.
Problem is, McGregor hits him, and I don't know if he was supposed to pull up or not connect at all or whatever, or hit him very lightly. Conor McGregor's not a WWE superstar where maybe he would perfect how to make it look like he hits a guy. He's a UFC fighter, and he hit him.
Bro, he knocked him out.
Knocked him out cold. Bernie goes flying to the ground. Conor then keeps hitting him, and finally they just grab Bernie by the legs and just
they drag him out
off
like they would at a drunk at a bar. They just drag him off he hit him, and I just saw the punch. There's this big beak, right? And he goes left, and if you hit him in the beak, it's just foam. Yeah. The guy kind of moves his head, and his left connects with the side of that dude's head, and it knocks him out.
Now, the man in the Bernie costume ended up in the hospital.
He went to the hospital.
And they haven't said if it was the punch that did it or if he maybe didn't actually get punched and he was pretending to fall and he hit his head on the hardwood. I don't know, but he ended up in the hospital. He was treated and released with some pain medication. So it wasn't anything serious. But when I see, there was a skit on the court. Guys, Bernie's in the hospital. I was like, is this part of the bit or did this really happen? And no, it really happened.
You're laughing as he's being dragged out of the arena because, that's funny. It's a funny bit. Until you hear later, you had to go to the hospital. Oh, my Lord. I just don't know. You know, there's those people in life that are they're just a little bit too edgy to hang out with. They're just, you don't know what's going to happen. I feel like Conor McGregor is that guy. It would be, hey, my buddy knows Conor. We're all going to go out to a bar and drink and watch this game. And you're like, okay. And you know something's going to go wrong. He's just too edgy. Too much edgy stuff happens with him around. And I can't be a party to that, Paul. Not that I would ever have that chance, but he's just an edgy guy. So I don't know that I want him involved in bits and stuff.
Yeah. I don't think so.
With my team and whatnot.
No.
Tittle can wait. His spray. The Tittle spray.
All right. Now, for everybody, and there was a lot of you that sent over this post-game interview of I think it was a Virginia Tech baseball player. Everyone said, you got to play this on Monday. Got to play. I do this. Ryan Report, wherever. You got to play this on Monday. It's a 2-year-old interview.
We did play it in 2021.
I'm almost positive we did. Not going to bring it back again. So I'm going to pivot, and that's it for sports here. But in Philadelphia, there was a freeway closure due to the freeway collapsed, and it was due to a tanker fire.
Yes,
in Philadelphia. The I-95, Interstate 95 collapsed. Northbound lanes happened after a tanker truck fire broke out, and I saw videos of people driving by. I mean, it looked bad, and that thing ended up coming down, and there was a guy going around and interviewing people in the neighborhood, asking them if they saw it, how is this impacting the neighborhood or anything like that, traffic. And we got maybe the best Philly accent. We love accents.
I love this accent.
I showed you this earlier.
It's Hannah, by the way, she told me this weekend it's her favorite accent. I'm like,
well, then Hannah's going to love these next 30 seconds.
I go, Really? The Philly accent? She goes, yes, and Baltimore. I go, okay.
All the video says is the most Philly response to the I-95 collapse. And it's not just how he talks, it's also what he says.
Most.
Dude, so I was passed out and I woke up to
Passed
nothing
out.
but text messages, phone calls. I had no idea what was going on. And I got dressed. I came out. I looked down and I smell like a smoky smell. And I'm like, damn, dude. So I'm like, everybody's like, yo, where's this at? Like, nobody had like a direct like location. So I was like, look out my window. I see a bunch of cops. I'm like, bro, that's right by my apartment.
So when did you figure out and realize that the freeway collapsed, the northbound side?
Oh, dude, I was passed out when that happened. Dude, so
I was passed out.
I love it.
There was also a lot of people making jokes that Nick Castellanos homered yesterday.
Did he?
Yeah.
At the time. Yeah.
And then finally, this was a Woods recommendation. You wanted to bring this up. I don't know that we do shout out to his family here.
I don't think you do.
But we did have I guess, a notable passing over the weekend.
I'd say it's a notable, yeah.
Theodore Ted Kaczynski passed away on Friday night. He was 81 years old.
You may know him under his moniker, aka the moniker,
the Unabomber.
Of the Unabomber. Passed away at 81. Died by suicide, Paulie, in his cell at 81 years old. Now, there was a series that was on a couple of years ago that was so well done. It's called Manhunt. And it is about Ted Kaczynski and his, bombs and everything else. I mean, look, if you like true crime stuff, really well done. I think it's still on Netflix, I want to say. That's Unabomber in his own words. Manhunt was something else. Yeah, there's been a few
series on him.
This one was so well done, and you really get a nice view into what this guy's bit was and what he was thinking. And obviously, I don't think you do shout outs to like mass murderers on our show. Probably not. But yeah, Ted Kaczynski, 81, died by suicide in his cell. He has paid the ultimate price for his crime.
I was reading he was in like a not a hospital, but like a medical facility within the jail system, and because he had cancer, and that
was it.
He passed.
That was it.
So there you go.
Not shout out to us. No. I'm sure his family's very sad. Maybe they're not.
Oh.
He had a brother. They go into that in the series. It's really good. Manhunt. Check it out.
Sounds like a woodsy rabbit hole.
It is a very, very good one. It's a very, very good one if you're into that sort of thing.
You know who else is a very, very good one?
Sammy Levitt?
In-season Sammy.
In-season Sammy is truly, truly the GOAT. I think he's going to hang out with us next, maybe all the way to the end of the show. I'd like to spin the topic wheel, too. We never spin the topic wheel with Sammy. I'd also like to spin the topic wheel with a caller one day. That'd be fun. Get the tier ones involved. Have we tried that before?
Uh-huh.
Have we? How did it go?
Not great.
No?
If I don't remember, if I recall.
We can try it again. 833-288-0973. Do we have anything to give them if they play? No? All right,
We already gave away our Padres tickets. We have more
Sounds
tomorrow.
good. Be back. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. This hour on the Fan brought to you by Cars.com. Whether you're looking for the perfect summer road trip car or something you can zip around in, visit Cars.com today. They have over 2 million cars for your 2 million summer possibilities. Head to Cars.com and check out the possibilities. Cars.com. Where to next? Where to next is I think we're going to go out to the, I guess it's the premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline, kind of.
Yeah.
Joined by
The
our
virtual
pal. I
hotline.
feel like I haven't talked to or seen his beautiful face in so long. Our beloved in-season Sammy Levitt. Good morning, Sammy.
Good morning. How's everybody doing?
Good. How are you? Off day for you, and you're joining us. Look at you. I love the dedication. You know, I appreciate that.
I know. I apologize to your YouTube viewers because I haven't shaved. I don't look good, so I'm sorry for that. But
Buddy,
this is how
great.
you're getting me on an off day. You know, I feel like I usually dress up very nicely.
You do actually. You
for
have
the
a lot of
ballpark. I
lot of
overdress
dress.
at the ballpark, so everybody's getting me underdressed right now. Hey, Paul.
Yes.
Technical question for you as we're going here.
Love
if I
this.
have an echo in my ear, what do you think I should do? Mute one of these, maybe. Let's see.
Are not the issue. They don't mind, and they just want to hear us talk Padres baseball and the like, my friend. So I think you look great. I like casual Sammy. Couple days growth here. That's already more than Ben can do in a week. So Ben is out today. He's in Catalina. He's in on the boat, I think, currently. And Sammy has agreed to come on and hang out with us. How's everything been for you, my friend?
Everything's good. I had a nice few days off, which was cool, and it was a good time back in New York, so that was a lot of fun. And
Was that just a
good
little
to be back.
vacation, seeing the fam?
A wedding, a very good friend from growing up in New York, so that was really nice to get to go back there and be a part of that. And I was thinking it was the first time that I had been, or I should say that I had missed games for an event, you know, for something that was pre-planned, since I think my college graduation, my first year of working in pro baseball. So
that's amazing.
It was nice. You know, thank you to the station and the Padres for letting me get out for a few days. It was really cool.
So your Cal Ripken streak is now over. You have to start a new streak then.
I know, I do. By the way, as we work through this technically, I know you guys like to be transparent behind the scenes.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure I muted the YouTube stream, the whole stream, for about 30 seconds there by what I did. So to the YouTube viewers, I'm sorry. I thought I was muting like the volume back to me, so they missed about 30 seconds there.
It's okay. You could have killed the stream entirely in the middle of a Christmas show.
Yeah, you could have
that's
done
been
that
done before, though.
That has been done. Sorry, guys. I was just messing with it.
I just was curious what end broadcast would
Clown
do.
show over here at 97.
That was unbelievable. That was a wild time.
So, Sammy,
on the Christmas show.
I know you were gone. We're not crazy, right? We're not shills and bought out sellouts to think that this team is actually starting to maybe kind of a little bit start to play better baseball. Like we're seeing it a lot with
June
this team.
12th. What did they play? 9 games, 10 games in June. Like they've played better baseball.
Little bit better baseball.
I think for sure they're playing better. I mean, I think you would feel way better about it had they won yesterday and swept the Rockies and all of a sudden have a season high 4-game winning streak. I think you would have felt way better about it this morning than you do because of the way the game ended yesterday. I think there's no doubt they are playing better. The offense as a whole now for a couple of weeks has been better. And Jesse has put it this way a couple of times, and I think it puts it really well. Sometimes turning that corner is not the Ferrari, whizzing around the corner.
Yeah.
Sometimes that can look a little bit slower, and you're slowly turning that corner. And I feel like that's what we've seen. So look, I think no doubt the offense has been better. Certainly during the couple of games to begin the mini 3-game win streak, it was great. At the same time, it's hard to come out of yesterday and not once again feel like this team is taking one step forward, one step back, one step forward, one step back. Because the reality is, guys, is they've dug themselves a hole where they need to go on a run, where they need to go rattle off 5-6 straight wins, 9 out of 10, whatever streak you want to dream up to get back to anywhere close to where we thought this team would be. And from a playoff perspective, as it's now June 12th, I mean, we're heading towards the middle of June, July. They've got a lot of work to do. So, look, I think they played better overall, but certainly the last couple of days, if you just want to look at it from an offensive perspective, I love that they actually won a 1-run game on Saturday. It was a little bit different than the first 2 games. I personally thought that was a great sign, win a different kind of game. But yesterday, I mean, Dinelson Lamet really had struggled coming into that outing. I mean, you can look at the numbers. You can look at the numbers going back to before he was on the IL to late April. The Padres only scored 3 runs against them in 5 innings and couldn't add on to that 3-1 lead. And for as much conversation as there's been about Blake Snell coming out after 85 pitches and Luis Garcia in the 9th inning and everything that happened with the bullpen, Luis Garcia in the 8th inning and everything that happened with the bullpen yesterday, bottom line is they had opportunities to add on to that lead at Coors Field in Colorado and put that game away, and they didn't. So, look, I think coming out of yesterday, you're still feeling a little 2 steps forward, 1 step back, that kind of thing. But hopefully you go home and you create the momentum. Look, they put themselves in a position where they have to go rattle off a run at some point to get back to somewhere close to where we think this team could go.
Yeah, that's going to be the toughest part is until it happens, you don't know that you're capable of, you have the talent to do it. But until it actually happens, you're not going to believe it. And I don't think fans are going to believe it until they actually see it with their own eyes. And, I've been saying this all morning, but now Oakland has won 5 games in a row. Oakland, who has a payroll of 79 cents. They have ripped off 5 games in a row. They've managed to find a way to do it. It is weird and wild and inexplicable that this team hasn't found one soft part of the schedule where they can rip through 5, 6, 7 wins in a row. When a team like Oakland that has 15 total wins, I think, have gotten their last 5 in 5 days. So it's a little bit tough of a pill to swallow. It's a little bit concerning. It's a little bit where you look at it and go, all right, dudes, like, you've got to know. You heard Fernando's comments last week, Sammy, and I didn't really take umbrage with them after a 10-run outburst. He's like, yeah, I mean, people want us to do this every day. I don't know that the 10-run outburst is what they want every day. It'd be great, but we also know it's baseball and it doesn't happen that way. I think what fans want for the most part, Sammy, is just more consistency. We don't care if you win by 2. We don't care if you win by 10. You just got to find a way to scratch out victories. Like yesterday was a perfect example.
I agree, and I think the final 2 games of this series are a pretty good example of that. I mean, yesterday scoring 3 runs at Coors Field, or I should say Saturday scoring 3 runs at Coors Field, and then on Sunday scoring 3 before the 9th inning. I just think it's got to be more consistent like that when you show up to a place like Colorado. So, look, I think 2 things can be true at once. I think you can be realistic about what a team does day in, day out, and what an offense can do day in, day out. But that benefit of the doubt, unfortunately, I don't think is there right now for the Padres because of the way this season started. And we'll see. Again, yesterday, and I said it on the post game, look, we talked a ton about Snell and a ton about Garcia and a ton about how that game transpired as the rain came down. But I thought, an underrated part of that game was the idea that the offense scored 3 runs against Lamet and never added on. And, maybe you're not in that situation late in the game if you go score more runs at the elevation.
Yeah,
so
no doubt.
It's been so confounding and confusing at times to try to figure out why the Padres just haven't been able to click all at once and get this thing going on all cylinders. You hope that's going to happen. You felt like going into the 8th inning yesterday, there was a real opportunity for that. to win 4 in a row, sweep a series, do some things this team has not done to this point in the year. But, one loss also doesn't erase, like you've been saying, all the good they've done over the last couple of weeks and a lot of those positive signs that we've seen.
No question. And I want to talk to you about the matchup next. We got to take a break. We'll be right back on Ben and Woods. Want to talk to you about Cleveland. The Guardians coming to town. Look, they've got some arms, and they got some guys that can rip the ball out of the ballpark. If you don't let those guys beat you, you have a good chance of winning this series. And that's really the most important thing to do. And I know we want to go on a run. I know I just said it. We want to win 5, 6, 7 in a row. You're going to have to sweep some teams to do that. But it is also very important to figure out a way to win series at this point as well and kind of let the chips fall where they may. So bit of a conflict there. I realize that what I said. I want both. You can't really do both. Yeah, you can. You can win series by sweeping them.
Yeah.
But you need to win series, most importantly, at a bare minimum. We'll talk about Cleveland and the Guardians and what they got coming to town next, right here on Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Welcome back, Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. I'm Woods. That's Paul Reindl. It's just me and Paulie today, joined by in-season Sammy Levitt. Got an update from Ben. He sent us a picture.
Yeah, he did.
I said, well, what? I said, you look thrilled. And he said, I'm seasick. Of course he is. Of course.
No joy in my life.
Of course. Our little Ben is seasick on the Catalina Cruiser or whatever it is.
The effing Catalina wine mixer.
Catalina wine mixer. I don't get seasick.
I've never gotten seasick.
Me neither. Love it. I was made for the sea, but I'm very afraid to get in the water unless I'm on a boat.
Gotten car sick.
I don't get car sick either. I don't really get motion sickness.
It's really only if I'm in the back seat on a road trip.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, it's the back seat.
I can't remember the last time I've ridden in a back seat.
I was a kid.
Honestly, yeah. I did take an Uber home recently from a concert, and I rode in the back seat. I felt great.
Yeah.
I was not sober, so that might have had something to do with
Might
it.
have helped.
But yeah, so little Benny's getting a little green around the gills. Perhaps some Dramamine could help. But imagine going on that vacation and not feeling well. That's what our little guy's up to right now. So hopefully he's able to join us tomorrow. He's going to test the equipment, try to jump on remotely from Catalina tomorrow. So that'll be fun, us talking over each other because of a delay or something.
Well, you guys don't normally talk over each other. So.
I'm so looking forward to it.
Like
whoever we interview tomorrow, that's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, boy.
Very excited. Very excited about this. Sammy still with us?
Yeah, we're going to get to Sammy right after this check of traffic.
All right.
Right here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Danick.
Couple problems wrapping up our morning drive. Northbound side of the 805, right around Murray Ridge. There is a collision over the right shoulder, the clearing stage. Also some debris reported on westbound 78 right before Melrose. That's in the fast lane. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right.
Sammy.
Yeah,
I think we've
there's our-
eliminated the echo.
All right, we got rid of the
Our
echo.
beloved Sammy Levitt.
We've got Sammy back with us. Ben is seasick. Sammy, do you get sick at sea?
I do not. In fact, I did a kayaking little adventure a couple of weeks ago in La Jolla.
Look at you.
And I didn't get seasick then. So no, I typically don't get seasick, car sick. And by the way, anything I said in that first segment, forget it, because I could hear myself about 3 times over in my ear. Hear you guys 3 times over, but we have eliminated the echo. So I thought I was going crazy there for about 10 minutes. Now we can really get started.
Great.
It's going to be really fun to have Ben on tomorrow with all of this. Like, I already know it's going to be a train wreck. I know it is. I know it's coming.
I was doing my best.
No, you're doing
I was
great.
doing my best. So I'm not sure if anything I said made sense, because I was trying to make sense while
Well, now we know
being in
Ben,
the echo chamber.
Ben will have
We're
an
good.
echo tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. We're just going to make him suffer through it.
I'm going to make him do all 4 hours. I'll be like, no, we're fine. We're
No,
fine.
guys, loud and clear,
No,
buddy. It's not choppy at all.
We're good. You're good here. So Cleveland's coming in, the Cleveland Guardians. Now, if the Padres were in the AL Central, we'd be in a lot better shape. I'll tell you right now, because 31 and 34, we have identical records. That's good for second place in the AL Central right now. All right. 33 and 33, 500 is good for first place in the AL Central. What a turd division it is. You got 3 teams on the bottom half with 50 or minus 50 or more run differential in the White Sox, the Tigers, and the Royals. Your leader in the Minnesota Twins, 33 and 33, the division that no one wants. Nobody wants to take it, and it's there for the taking. Identical records again for the Padres and the Guardians. Let's see. They play 16 and 17 away from 15 and 17 away from their ballpark, and Padres are 15 and 18 at home. Sammy, something's got to give here between these two teams, and I wonder what's going to be the key and secret to winning this series from the Cleveland Guardians.
Well, I'll tell you this. I don't think it's going to be an easy series, and I think you can look at the starting pitching matchups and look at who Cleveland's throwing and see a lot, because you look at just the 3 names that are going in this series. Bybee tomorrow, 3.05 ERA. Savali's really good at 2.31 ERA on Wednesday. And then Logan Allen at 3.31 ERA on Thursday. So I haven't totally, did all my deep diving into the starting pitchers yet, but just on the initial numbers. I mean, these guys have been good, and it's a team that does have talent. When you talk about guys like Josh Naylor and obviously Jose Ramirez, who's terrific, and Stephen Kwan, and a lot of young talent on that team. And I watched a game the other day where they came back and won it late, that crazy game against the Astros. I think it was Saturday night or Friday night. They showed a lot of fight. I was really impressed watching that game and following along. So look, any series right now is important for the Padres, no matter who it is, no matter what the team's record is. But I don't know that, you can look at the 31-34 record for the Guardians and think that this will be a really easy series, especially with the starting pitching that the Guardians have going, being as solid as it's been this season.
And anytime an old friend comes to town, Sam, you've only been here for a season, but anytime an old friend comes to town, you almost know that there's going to be some damage done. Josh Bell has started so poorly for the Guardians, and now is rounding into form a little bit. Hit his 5th home run, 3 for 4 yesterday. Looked really, really good. Luckily, we're going to miss Shane Bieber in this series, which is fine. But no real respite with the guys that
Josh
you named.
Naylor's still there. First
Naylor's
baseman?
still there. Yep, Naylor's there.
Yep.
And Josh Bell's there. So we got
a couple home runs this week.
Got a couple of guys that we're very familiar with here in San Diego. But yeah, I think you make a good point. Looking at the 3 guys we're going up against, look, they all can spot the baseball, and every one of them has good command. And that to me has been a bit of a problem. If they've come in and pitched the Padres, down in the zone, has not been a pitch that the Padres have been really adept at doing damage with this season. So there's going to need to be some adjustments made. Guys are going to have to adjust at the plate. And really, you're up there hoping somebody makes a mistake. And if they do, you got to punish them for it. And I like the guys going for us too. I do. I like the guys going for us. We got Musgrove. And then we got Michael Wacha, and then Yu Darvish. We'll wrap it up on Thursday. So pretty freaking good. Like, if you weren't a fan of either of these teams, you just wanted some good matchups. Like, this would be 3 good matchups if you just like baseball.
I mean, really, when you think about it, right, from a starting pitching perspective, I mean, there's a solid 4 there for the Padres right now between you and Joe and Snell and what Michael Wacha's done. I mean, these guys, for the most part, have been really, really good. And Musgrove now settling into more of a groove. He's been a lot better lately. I don't think it's any coincidence, and this is something that Jesse and I talked about on the pregame show yesterday. I don't think it's any coincidence that you had Fernando playing really well for a week, Manny playing really well for a handful of days after returning from the hand injury, and the Padres were winning, and they had won 5 of 7 and won 3 in a row. I just, and it sounds so cliche, but I truly think this team will go as far as those hitters take them, in the top 6 in that lineup, on any given day, whatever order: Soto, Tatis, Bogarts, Machado, Cronenworth, now Gary Sanchez in that mix. I mean, these guys have to produce, and we know producing offensively at home has been a real problem at a lot of times, even going back to last year, and winning at home. So if this team is going to end up in the postseason and get over 500 and start moving towards where we all think they could go and should go, they're going to have to start again. Like we talked about in that last segment, hitting more consistently and winning at home and doing it more days than not, and trying to put together those games consecutively. So, the tough part, Woodsy and Paul, is I feel like when I come on here with you guys, or pregame, postgame, I feel like a lot of the things we say right now are kind of cliche and everybody knows it, but it's no secret. This team will go, and I thought the last handful of games with the way Fernando and Manny played and the way they drove in runs and got on base. I mean, I thought at times in the series in Colorado, we saw the real power of Fernando in the leadoff spot, getting on base, running,
stealing a bag,
forcing Lamet to make the error on the pickoff throw yesterday. Like, that's when this offense is at its best, when those guys are doing major things and major damage at the very top of the lineup. So, it almost sounds all cliche, but they need to do it consistently and day in, day out. And I think that will be the key in this series and in this homestand. And obviously, look, after Cleveland, you've got the Tampa Bay Rays coming in. And I haven't seen the Tampa Bay Rays in person, but if you watch them enough and you have followed what they've done this year, I think I think it's going to be pretty interesting to see this Rays team, because you want to talk about just quality at bat after quality at bat and what these guys do. It's pretty special. So after this series against Cleveland, that's a very tough task for this Padres team over the weekend.
And what the Padres have done to themselves at the beginning of the season, Sammy, is we're joined by in-season Sammy Levitt here on Ben and Woods this morning. What they've done with this big hole that they have dug is you can't really hit a lull. You can't if you're the San Diego Padres. You can't have that 5 games that you drop, which happens to every team. Because what they haven't shown us is the ability. They've been in like this long, constant lull, seemingly. It just hasn't been, we want to talk about how streaky the season's been. No, it's just been up, down, day after day. Win one, lose one. There's no real consistency there at all, other than that part being consistent. Win one, lose one. Win one, lose one. That's the definition of consistency. They're consistent in their how poorly that they've played every other day. But what you've done with that win-loss record and with other teams, teams like Arizona coming back from 4 runs in the 9th inning, coming back and winning and game they shouldn't have won. They're feeling it right now. This team has never got to the moment where they've said, we're feeling it, man. We are feeling it. 6-game, 7-game win streak incoming. And those are the teams that can withstand a little bit of lull, a team that has an 8, 9, 10-game winning streak in them. We just don't yet. They have until they do it. No one's going to believe it.
I think also, and I like this conversation because I feel like it's sort of like just a real conversation of how the season feels day by day.
Yeah.
I think that the interesting part to me, Woodsy, is that every game is so magnified right now. Like you think about the mini 3-game win streak and how good things felt, even going into the 8th inning yesterday, right? Blake Snell, 7 innings, 1 run, 12 strikeouts. You're on the precipice of a 3-game sweep, of a 4-game winning streak, and feeling. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I think you guys, if they would have won yesterday, would have come on air today. Not said that everything's perfect,
right?
But hey, here we go, gaining some momentum. It just shows you when you dig a hole, and you're trying to come out of it. Now, every game, every moment is so magnified because the feeling on this Monday morning is a little bit different, where, like we were talking about earlier, you have that 1 step forward, 1 step back feeling. It's tough. Again, I go back to the analogy of the car speeding around the corner, which I think is a really good one. I think when we look back at this season, however it ends up, maybe hopefully we look at the last couple of weeks, what the offense has done and the fact that they played overall a bit better. And we say, you know what, it didn't happen all at once, but there were signs that this thing was turning around. Now, with that said, you wake up this morning on June 12th, and this team is still 3 games below 500 and way back in the division and has work to do in the wild card. So, it's tough, Woodsy, because you want to keep that perspective. But I think we also all understand that there needs to be a run here at some point, and there's plenty of time to do it, but it's got to happen. By the way, they could go sweep the Guardians, and all of a sudden you're looking at you've won whatever it's going to be at that point. And you're saying, all right, this team's hot right now. They had a little hiccup on the Sunday in Colorado, but they're playing some really good baseball. So it's tough, day by day. And as somebody for me who's, on right after the game and talking about it, I feel like I very much feel the ups and downs of every game, every moment. Feeling the fan reaction. You guys too. You guys talk about it every morning. So I think the thing is that nobody expected it to feel that way this season. I think that's the part of it that's been tough. I think we all expected for this to be a smoother sail, but you got 90 plus games left, and there's time to go on that run. But certainly, as far as the division, I mean, look, the Diamondbacks have been awesome. They're young, they're fast, they have good starting pitching. I'm not necessarily surprised that they've been good, but I mean, they've been really good. I mean, you look at some of the games they're winning. They came back yesterday.
Yep,
and
they don't score a ton of runs. I mean, they don't score a ton of runs. They just win. The thing that's going to stick in our craw, Sammy, if we get to the end of the season and we look back and let's just say Pods don't make the playoffs or they skate in the 6th seed. you're going to look back and go, dude, the record in one-run games is at what absolutely murdered us this season. I mean, because, again, you win those one-run games that they won so many of last year. This is a totally, totally different team. You're ahead of the Dodgers right now, who are scuffling. They're 3-7 in their last 10. They're not running away with anything. Diamondbacks are playing really, really well. But, man, you add those 13 wins in. Hell, you even add 9 or 10 of them in. It's a whole different ball game right now at this point, and that's what makes it so hard to stomach. So it's got to change. I still think there's time for it to change. I know we've got the talent to do it. I feel like we've got all the pieces. It's just a matter of these guys believing that they've got a good, solid 5, 6, 7 in them. And again, like you said, it just gets tougher and tougher because Cleveland's no joke. Tampa Bay's no joke. I don't even know who we have after that, but we've been hanging
San Francisco.
We've been hanging around 2.5 back in the wild card, seemingly for about 3 weeks. I feel like we've been 2.5 out for about 3 weeks, Sammy. So we'll see how it all plays out. Certainly appreciate you jumping on with us today. Always appreciate the work you do, my friend, and we will see you very soon.
All right, sounds good. I got one thing for the YouTube stream, and I'll explain it just because I have it in my hand right now. You'll like this, Woodsy and Paul. Check this out. Sammy's bar mitzvah. That's December 19th, 2004. We gave away these mini bats at my bar mitzvah.
Dude, this was your destiny.
How about this?
That was your destiny.
That's fantastic.
All right, I met your mom. She adores me, and I adore her too. Is there an extra Sammy bar mitzvah bat floating around anywhere? Because I need one.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when I was home, when I was at the house I grew up in, when I went back for the wedding, I'll do this quick. I know you got to go. We did have a lot of bats. We also gave out shirts. There are only a couple of shirts, so I think we're saving those for the. For 60 years from now, so I can show it to maybe my kids or something one day. But
when you're in the Hall of Fame,
I might have a
yes.
bat for you.
Okay, I want a bat. I need a bat ASAP. You're the best, dude. That is incredible. I love that Sammy merch. I love it. Little Sammy Levitt bar mitzvah bat.
Thank you, Sammy.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you.
All right, guys. See ya.
Enjoy your off.
The great Sammy Levitt joining us on the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad Fan Hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet find new roads. That is pretty much it for me and Paulie. Paulie, great job today. I know there's a lot of moving parts with Benjamin being out and, a lunatic like myself trying to host and keep the show on the rails. So thank you for all your hard work. And we'll be back tomorrow. No game tonight. So honestly, I have no earthly idea what we're going to talk about tomorrow.
4 hours on the NBA Finals.
The NBA Finals are tonight. Yes, so I'll watch some of that game to be sure. I need the Heat to win.
You need the Heat to win?
Yeah.
You got money on this?
For my bet. Bet into my bet. Over under 5.5 games. He has the under. So I'm like, I have to win, obviously.
Good luck.
Thank you.
I don't know that it's going to happen.
I don't think it's going
in Denver.
To. I'm already down $50 to maybe $60. I'm down $60 at this point. So
figure it out, dude.
Jesse
Agler tomorrow morning.
Put him on my tab.
8:35.
All right. Thank you guys. Have a great rest of your day. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We are Ben and Woods. And we'll be back tomorrow. Like it or not.